We are not.
Jesus!
We
Getting us in the zone!
are.
Chaos immediately.
Yes, butchered.
I believe we are live.
We had a game plan and we've immediately broken it. All right,
Immediately.
So, hello. First of all, I would like to apologize for our prior technical
Oh,
difficulties. We had
yes,
one of our troop members here lose power 15 seconds
It was
after
so
we started.
Out of
stream,
absolutely
which is
nowhere.
Always convenient. Always convenient. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a sunny day here.
Move.
Just like a nice, pleasant weather day. So,
Yeah.
anyway, this will take a minute. We're an improv troupe, and today, at long last, we promised to do this, back in like March, April? About that time.
Yeah, that's a while
We've been
ago.
saying we're going to do this forever. And today we're finally playing Call of Cthulhu. For those of you that don't know, that is a tabletop pen and paper role-playing game, similar to Dungeons and Dragons, but not really similar to Dungeons and Dragons.
Should we all like Brady Bunch Alex? Like
Brady Bunch me?
Yeah, like
Put me on every screen.
Yeah,
Which one am I? I need to look.
yeah. I look down.
I'm not looking at the stream, so I don't know what that would look like.
Continue.
So yeah, I think you guys will catch on to the rules pretty quickly once we start playing. But for now, I am going to be your keeper of arcane lore. That's like a dungeon master, except cooler name. And these are your investigators. Say hello, investigators.
Hello.
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 Should we introduce ourselves or?
We're gonna get to that in a minute. But first, I'm gonna introduce. If you guys just want to jump right into the game, we don't have anything to cover before we start.
No, we don't.
Thank you for drawing a little smiley face for us.
I'm just posting a link. On
Yeah.
my
We should give the stream a little bit to get a few people and let them
we can do
mosey
that.
on downtown.
Yeah, because there's only two viewers, and one of them is me.
Cool guy.
Whoa! Did you draw
That's
that?
actually like a solid drawing.
That was a really good drawing.
It's you. Get it? Because you are Cthulhu.
Ah.
So I do want to be clear. This game is called Call of Cthulhu. It will not inherently include Cthulhu.
Yes.
It is specifically
That's
a
who he
mystery
is.
slash horror role playing game set in sort of this thing which is referred to as the Cthulhu mythos, which is like the assembled stories of H.P. Lovecraft and other authors that took inspiration from him to write in like a similar universe. So there is any number of monsters and ancient deities and aliens that could appear in this sort of series, which are not as thoroughly like defanged as
Lord?
Cthulhu has been at this point. Like the entire point of the genre is how scary the unknown is, and like people own Cthulhu plushies. So like, come on, right?
I was
Yeah.
very recently informed of the fact that there will be no Cthulhu in this, and Alex is on very thin ice right now. So
I'm so sorry.
He's about to be kicked out of the troop.
There will be elder gods of ancient and arcane secrets.
Okay.
But they probably won't have as many tentacles as you may be expecting.
Ah, good to know. Good to know.
Of course, this game thrives on the unexpected.
Ooh, little
I
did
thought
we
you were gonna
know.
say this game thrives on the tentacles.
No, dear God, no. I mean, maybe a little
yeah,
bit.
it does.
Unexpected, Alex. There'll be no tentacles. Opening shot, tentacles everywhere.
Yeah, opening shot in this speech verbal game, obviously.
Yeah, well,
is
when-
going to
Yeah.
contain-
I'm
My
assuming you're
room is about to be
describing.
invaded.
You look into a fish tank and see a squid.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not come prepared with lots of like animation slides to
Oh,
supply you with. So
Man.
yeah, this is
I
a
just
very
getting thinner.
theater of the mind game for those that don't know. So we're not using any miniatures or battle maps or anything like that.
So everyone, close your eyes and just imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're more into like listening to this as if it's a podcast, that's going to be a very functional option for you. So if you want
Yeah.
to like leave the computer and go do some dishes or something like that, you're not going to miss anything serious in the visual department, except of course for our investigators' lovely costumes.
yeah. Ooh.
Okay, Lovely
like
is giving us a little bit too much credit.
Yeah, little bit.
Some
I don't know,
of
I
our
think
investigators
Sam-
have lovely costumes.
Sam's
I went
solid
out.
job.
All out
Okay,
on
now
my
I just feel
costume.
called out.
Bloody butcher apron.
I even have a prop.
Nice.
Is that like an actual
Sam's
knife?
is by far the most impressive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Great.
What a
Like
clip.
cleaver, though. That
What a
would be
clip that
more
was.
like-
I know.
Is that an actual
Um,
knife?
Is that an actual knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Run it up street.
It's not a cleaver though, which is what your character should have.
Is that
I
a
don't have
actual
any
blood?
That's
cleavers.
what I was saying.
That's too bad.
Oh my God, Sam! I could lend you one.
Dear
Maybe-
God.
Aw, man.
Of course.
Go into his desk of cleavers.
Yeah, of course Ethan has
Out of all
cleavers.
the
My mouse
cleavers
is
that
on the
Ethan
screen.
has.
I will move that. Sorry
We
about
have a
that.
lot of kitchen knives in my house. I'm sorry.
So what are we thinking? Getting started yet?
Let's go ahead and give it another, say 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure.
I think we should be
So,
good. Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
starting very shortly. Just want to make sure people have time to mosey their way on downtown, and we get
course.
on in here. I got the chat all pulled
To
up
the
on
OK
Loop too.
crawl.
I got this pulled up
Watching
here.
the stream.
Got to make sure I
Can't.
have stuff open. It'd probably be a
if
good
all of
idea
us
to
open
open
the
up my.
stream, then we'll have like 6 entire viewers.
I know, right?
The most
So
we've ever
cool.
had.
Yeah, how do I get to this? I can't. Usually I can click on it.
It's too
here,
much
but I
pressure.
can't.
It's too much pressure.
My monocle keeps
I
on
should
to
have
fall
this
out.
set to the table contents
Fun fact: the
from-
true fear isn't the unknown; it's the pressure of having at least 6 viewers in a stream.
Yes,
Full viewers,
correct.
the
Name
people
gets
that are
named.
in the stream.
The fame.
Yeah, I'm
gets-
not like super experienced at running this game. And when
Neither are we.
by not super experienced, I mean I've only done this once before.
Uh,
And these guys have never even played this game before, so this is going to be a bit of a
Yeah.
novice run all
I'm
around.
so confused.
Yeah, Sophie's never played a tabletop RPG. We had to teach her what a
Yeah, no,
D20
I'm
was today.
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
still don't really know what
Speaking-
it is. I think it's a dice, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anything that
it's
is
a die
followed by a
with
number
20
is
sides.
representing a dice with that number of sides.
Does everyone want to show off their dice?
Oh.
Sure,
Yes.
I would love to.
Well,
Yeah.
not everyone has physical dice.
Yeah, not everyone does.
Yeah.
Do all the
Face
cool
up
people
like
wanna show off their dice?
I would love
Well,
to.
I
Can
do.
start?
Listen here, I have a 100-sided die. It's got no room to roll.
You have 100-sided.
You have a
die?
D100?
Wait.
Yeah.
The rest of us are working with
What do you want?
2 D10s.
Yes.
I
I'm
assume at
working
least.
with- Do you like
So these
it?
are my D10s. Most of this game runs on a percentile dice system, so it'll be using these much more than anything else. So I've got these little gold numbering on here with a red and a black marbled look to it. I think these are nice dice.
I really like
It's
it.
a very nice
it's
die.
cool.
Dice.
Sam, would you like to show off?
Yeah, I'll go next. So I have so I have like 5 or 6 sets of dice, and back whenever I make a character, I always like to match which colored set of dice I think goes best with the character. I keep it. So this set of red and green is going with Murphy Eakley for the rest of this campaign, assuming I don't drop it.
Oh.
Well, I think dropping the dice is like what you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of what you do sometimes.
Does anyone else have dice? Ethan, do you have your
Okay.
dice?
Dice.
Oh.
I don't. So here's the thing. I
Great
would.
space
I'm
object,
using an
Sophie.
online
Yeah.
dice rolling website because
Aw.
I currently have about how much? How can I say? That much room on my desk to roll dice.
Yeah, my desk is
Because I have a
incredibly
bunch of
cluttered
stuff. Like
right
I
now.
have my mixer, my mic, my drinks, my second monitor, my switch, some papers and stuff.
My piano,
My
a
laptop.
tuba,
Oh,
a
yeah.
No, the
typewriter,
piano's back there, the tuba's
a big
upstairs.
marionette puppet.
No, that's in my room. But I do have a mandolin here as well.
Of Alex, actually. The
the
marionette
marionette.
puppet is Alex,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Also, I have my
the
my
marionette.
piece of like period accurate technology with me here. I have my
Especially that. head-
Oh yes,
Oh,
of course. The 3DS.
Nintendo DS.
I have a typewriter. I have a typewriter upstairs. For the next session, I should get a typewriter and take all my notes on the typewriter.
I think
Okay.
that would be incredibly disruptive.
My inkwell.
Oh,
over
it
here.
would be. It would definitely
I
would
do
be.
like your little inkwell.
Thank you, thank
The
you.
monster approached you. That's what we be dealing with.
No Cthulhu.
Yeah,
Alright.
the first note on everyone's notebooks is no Cthulhu.
Yeah. I started drawing
All right,
tentacles.
that's one lead crossed out.
Enzo, do you have dice?
No.
Ah, all right. Here, my dice
I'm
are
let down in a disappointment.
my dice are red and green as well.
I love you.
Um,
Oh.
The
but
watermelon one, right?
yeah, they are watermelon themed, and I did not. When I picked them up, I just went into
Oh my God.
our local game store, and I was like, "Hey, I'm playing Call of Cthulhu. What dice do I need?" And he was like, "Okay, you just need standard dice." And he pointed me towards some, so I just picked up the one that he pointed it at. And they're apparently watermelon themed. if
Oh my God.
the camera will focus.
That one literally
so-
looks like a slice.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Actually look like a slice of
I thought it was just red and green, but you have the green, you have whatever the honeydew is right here. They have the red, and the red has seeds in it.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
it's
on the
just
bright
straight.
side, if you get hungry, you can munch on your D4.
Yeah, I can
Eat
consume
dice.
my dice.
You can munch on your D4.
Assume.
Honestly, the most useless dice in a set of dice.
All right.
I mean, it's the least used.
Yeah,
Well-
I mean, in Dungeons and Dragons, it definitely is. I don't know if that's going to be the case for this game. You're not going to use a D20 ever in this game. That much
Ever.
I can tell you right
Okay.
now.
That's a
Never
bummer.
use
'Cause I got a huge D20 that I use
Yeah.
for rolls.
Sad.
Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
unfortunately,
do.
I don't have any like dramatic apparatus for the really big rolls. Because we're not in person, I can't give you like a
Like, you
dice
have,
box
like,
or anything
behind
like
you-
that. Yeah.
By the next session, you have to have like a giant like mousetrap style Rube Goldberg device.
Where the
Like a
dice rolls
giant
all the way
die.
from the other side of Brookline into my room into a dice box where I can read it out.
No, Alex. I'll like the start of it will be like right here, and I'll just go yeet.
And it goes
just
through
roll
my
all the way
window.
up to you.
You have to basically drop it from a plane to get it, like, to have enough of a downward
Oh.
slope to get all the way over here.
All right.
All right, so
I suppose
are we
we should
gonna
get
get started?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we should get started.
stream started 10 minutes ago. I think we're gonna go ahead and get on started here.
Yeah. Yeah.
My monocle.
And this will be
keep up.
available to watch on YouTube.
Cat.
Yes, it will.
Oh.
Hello
And
to
hopefully a
everyone
more
watching on
edited and
YouTube.
palatable version.
Yes,
Um,
it will be. It will be. Don't you worry. So yes,
So-
hello to everyone watching on YouTube, or maybe listening to it on iTunes podcast. Who knows? We'll figure it
we
out.
don't really know where
Yeah.
this is gonna go.
Who knows? Let's see how this goes.
So, the setting of our game, it is, as all Call of Cthulhu games should be. This isn't true. You can set a Call of Cthulhu game whenever you want. But the sort of traditional setting is the 1920s. And in this instance, it is mid-December in London in 1922. It's 4 years since the end of the Great War, and the city has entered a sort of prosperous period, but it hasn't quite forgotten its recent trauma. On this particular evening, it is exactly as you would expect London to be in December, which is to say dark at 4:15, sort of rainy, pretty cold. It's not a pleasant climate here. And this evening, our investigators find themselves, for reasons that I will allow them to explain when I hand over control to them, on their way to a party at the British Museum. Now, who would like to introduce themselves first?
Well, we're set up here in a circle. So Sam, if you'd like to start.
Sure.
And Sam, could you read me the letter that your character received?
Can I? Good question.
Okay.
If anybody has
I don't know.
really close at
Can
hand,
you?
they can also be the person to do it.
Is on my
Yes.
Discord, and I'm worried that will mess up the stream setup I have. So.
So I can read it out if nobody else is going to go looking for it.
Hold on. I can get it.
Okay.
Get it.
I am looking
It's
at
in
it right
the,
now.
general,
so we can just
yes?
go. It's
Mhm.
in the important Cthulhu stuff.
General.
Yes.
Chat.
Important Cthulhu stuff.
Okay.
As you can tell, we're very organized.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Ah, my dice.
I've got it.
That's my D6.
I received a letter that reads as follows. Investigators, you will find yourselves to be one of 5 people receiving a letter such as this. Your background and qualifications are diverse, but you share amongst you a particular skill for uncovering that which you would prefer to remain hidden. For the purpose of introducing you to myself and each other, I invite you to join me at the British Museum on the evening of December 17th. I assure you that I can make it worth your while. Remember to come properly attired. Yours sincerely, an interested observer.
So as you're on your
Sister's
way to meet
birthday.
this
Funny.
mysterious rendezvous, Sam, and as you're approaching this intimidating building that is the British Museum, can you describe your character and maybe what you're thinking?
Yes. My name is Murphy Eakley. I will be attempting an English accent sometimes. I am a butcher.
You definitely aren't now.
Well, he's
I
not
am-
speaking as himself now, right? He's speaking as
Okay, fair enough.
I am a 39-year-old man. I am a butcher who lives in London, England, but was born in Cardiff, Wales. I run a butcher shop called Murphy's Chop, which has some side business, which I will elaborate on a further time. And receiving this letter, I'm currently thinking that it might be some other side business related work.
Of course. All right. I'm not looking at the stream, so I don't know what order this circle that you
We're
started
going
goes in.
clockwise or counterclockwise?
We're going clockwise. Or
I have way too many tabs open to also support having the stream open.
okay,
Yeah.
Tizai is up next.
Okay.
Hello everyone. My name is James Masterson. I was born in Washington, D.C., and that is where I grew up. But I have recently moved to Duxford in Cambridge, the UK. I am 32 years old, and I see some laughter from our keeper. Is there an issue?
No, was I laughing?
I think so.
It
I think I
was.
was laughing at the name Duxford. perhaps.
Duxford. Oh, okay.
I was laughing because it took you 2 attempts to say Duxford in Cambridge.
You also misspelled
UK.
Cambridge on your character sheet.
Oh, leave me alone then. That is my home, and I would like for you. I would like.
I thought Washington was your home.
I'm letting him roleplay as an illiterate.
Instead of an English major. Yes.
You get a -2 to every single one of your intelligence rolls.
That's not how rolling in this game works at all.
Oh, that'd be
Sounds like
great,
a-
actually.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so yes, from Duxford, Cambridge, in the UK. But I am a psychiatrist, and let's just say that my clients have very much enjoyed me as their psychiatrist and have came out much better than they were before, even if they didn't know or wanted to. There we go.
Okay. So who's next?
I guess I'll go next.
I should
Oh,
get a
it's
sticky note
Sophie.
with the
Sophie
order
is
on it.
next up in the order.
Sophie is next up in the order.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. My name is Elizabeth Murphy. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I work as a private investigator. I'm 25 years old. I started working as a private investigator when I was 21. Received that weird letter. It was slipped under the door of my flat in Brooklyn, and it was like, that's weird. So I go. Yep.
So just to be clear, Elizabeth, you received this letter in Brooklyn, New York, and you were like, "Yeah, I'll fly to England for this." Right? Yeah. No,
'Cause I-
boat to England. This is like a week
Yeah,
long
well,
journey.
better
commercial
to do.
flights are not a
It is
thing.
1922.
Well,
Transatlantic flight isn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I admire your dedication.
Yep. Super dedicated.
Well, I've got nothing to do for the next 3 months. Might as well take a trip.
You know, the job is hard, especially for women in the 1920s. Like, you gotta do shit.
You got to take those
way.
leads.
Gotta.
All right. So would it be
leads.
reasonable? Would it be reasonable to assume that Elizabeth is maybe not getting a lot of business right now, and maybe is struggling a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So who's next?
That would be Enzo.
Mr. Enzo.
Or Mark Chase.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Mark Chase. I'm just taking a trip to England to visit family, and I was about to head out afterwards after a celebration or so, and when I received the letter at my door, and that's really all I can tell you.
Okay. Ethan.
Wonderful.
Mysterious. I'm not going to be attempting an accent because I am an Irish woman. My name is Rhiannon Byrne. Ignore the misspelled last name.
Yeah, let's not talk
Dylan
about
screwed
that.
up our graphic a little bit.
Hey,
Yeah,
took me
you're
a
out of the
minute.
troop.
Oh no.
I was born in the small village of Carrigallen, Ireland. And at a young age, I was hired by an English family who lives in Cardiff to become their housemaid. Then when the Great War struck, I went off with the young master of the house, who went to become an officer, and I served as a frontline medic in the trenches of World War One. And I had a good history of treating patients. Though I definitely do put in more effort into the work if they're like generally nice people and people want to have around. Yeah, I'm 29.
Okay.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So these are our wonderful investigators. And as you guys are, and I'm going to say you're sort of getting there one by one at slightly different times, but mostly close to the same arrival time. And as each of you is going through the main entrance of this building, it opens into a sort of like a grand marble hall with a big spiral staircase in the center. And on each side of the hall, on both levels, are entrances to galleries on the sides. And these right now, they're darkened and they're blocked off a little bit. But in the middle of the hall, in this grand marble sort of central room of the building, it is decked out with tables and chairs, and there's sort of food and appetizers and hors d'oeuvres piled on these tables, glasses of wine, things like that. And around the hall, milling about, are not a huge number of people, but enough people that the hall seems pretty full, dressed in Roman garb. So this is, it is December 17th, which I guess was mentioned in the letter, but I didn't specifically set out before. And tonight is the first night of the Festival of Saturnalia. So Io Saturnalia, investigators. Specifically, this is a high society gathering put on by sort of the intellectuals of the museum and other local academics, as just sort of like a function. We're going to have fun and get dressed up like it's ancient Rome, and just have this like general party here. But the thing that you guys all immediately notice as you're arriving is that when this letter said, "Remember to come properly attired," you guys did not grasp what that meant. So can you each describe what you're wearing?
Same order as before?
Yes, please.
Sure. I mean, no
Sam.
particular order. Just like it should be quick.
Sam.
Well, I didn't leave me house other than with my butcher shirt. I took off the apron, but I put my coat over it.
Yes, I have come with my trusty monocle. I've come in the fanciest attire that I own. That is not any form of suit. And as always, I have on me my my pocket watch, which will stay with me forever. I also keep with me a stethoscope, as there are many things that a stethoscope can be used for. Sophie?
Okay.
Or
Yep.
Elizabeth, please?
Yeah, I'm wearing kind of like what I'm wearing now, a gray long coat over a white blouse and a long dark skirt.
Enzo?
I threw on the clothes that I packed last, so this white dress shirt, this red tie, and this vest. Just something very casual that I could throw on and look relatively decent in.
I came up in the fanciest attire a housemaid like me could afford, which is my old military medic uniform.
All right, so you're all here in sort of like varying levels of formal attire, right? Anywhere from just like what you wear at work to sort of like dressing up and sprucing yourself up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But you all are sticking out like sore thumbs here at this party, where everybody else is in these sort of like flowing togas and white robes and in these sort of very austere, very not modern garments. So I'm going to say that you guys can locate each other pretty easily. You're pretty observant of the fact that some people here clearly do not know what's going on, and those people are probably the other people that received the letter.
Great.
So as you guys sort of congregate here, how are you introducing yourself to each other?
Well, I approach what I've seen seen is a small group forming of people who are obviously not dressed for the occasion, much like myself. And I approach and I introduce myself as Dr. James Masterson, and I ask everyone who they are as well. You, sir, with what seems to be blood on his apron. Who are you?
He's not wearing the apron. The character isn't wearing the apron right now.
He's not.
No.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is that a need to know question?
I expected it to be formal. I'm sorry, but
Call me Murph.
Murph. Okay. Nice to meet you, Murph. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
What about you, Vesti? Awfully quiet.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm wearing a vest.
Talking to the bloke, miss.
Oh, hello there. What's a girl like you dressed up at this time of the night like this? I mean, haven't you seen? Dress code's pretty much more lax than that suit you got on, but granted, I'm guilty of the same thing. Mark Chase.
Pleasant to meet you, Mark. Now is Miss Lady over here, who seems to be the talk of the town right now. What is your name?
This lady over here.
My name's Elizabeth Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that since you folk aren't to the dress code as well, I assume that perhaps you're on similar occasion.
Assuming it gets you bad places, ma'am.
I believe so. And the remaining, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Hi.
Yes,
My
thank you.
name's.
There's woman voice.
Hello. Hello. My name's Rhiannon. I am an ex-medic, and I see you all are here in varying forms of formality.
Yes, pleasant to meet you as well.
And so as this sort of like tense silence descends on the group, where you're all sort of have certain assumptions about each other, but they're not being vocalized exactly, you can see a man who is tall enough to stick out of the crowd approaching you. He's a tall man. I would say like taller than 6 feet. But he carries himself very upright, which makes him seem even taller and even more intimidating in a way. So he cuts this very striking figure coming through the crowd towards you. He's wearing a white toga with red trim, and as he makes his way towards you, he holds his hand out to the person who is nearest to him, who in this case is James, and he says, Samuel Langley, Esquire. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Samuel. My name is James Masterson, Dr. James Masterson. Are you the one that sent the letter?
Why, yes. Yes, I am. I'm glad to see that you all made it here all right, and I'm glad to say that you were able to identify each other. Now, the reason that I've brought you here is because I have great faith in your ability to solve a certain problem for me. Now, if you don't mind me getting directly to business, without making some perhaps appropriate introductions, as I'm aware of all of you already, to put it very simply, a possession of mine was stolen from my home very recently. I held a party at my home here in London about a week ago, and a book from my library has since gone missing. And this book is very important to me. You'll understand.
Is it your diary?
No. Now, I don't think that's a wholly appropriate question, Mr. What is it you're going by now?
Chase.
Chase,
Mark
of course.
Chase.
Mark Chase. Good to meet you, Mr. Chase.
I just want to
now-
know what kind of book.
Well, we can get to that in a moment, but first let me make your task clear to you before you jump to any rash assumptions. I have reason to believe that the person who took this book from me is here at this party tonight, and I would like you, as a group of, let's call you investigators, to figure out who that person is. Do you think you can do that for me?
Assume that the person who stole your book is one of us.
No, I don't assume that the person who stole my book is one of you. In fact, I trust each and every one of you for varying reasons. And I believe that you all have the skills necessary to figure out which of the other attendees here tonight is in possession of this object.
I take it this is on the down low kind of job?
Absolutely. Yes, my utmost priority is discretion. What I want to make very clear is I do not want you to attempt any action that may risk causing a scene or exposing this operation. And to that end, I want to also make it clear that I do not want you to recover this book. I only want you to find out which person took it. Now, any other questions that I can answer for you?
If you would like for us to be discreet at this occasion, why did you not inform us of the party that is currently happening? Because it does seem very much that we stand out due to our current attire.
Well, I thought it would be funny, to be perfectly honest. Is men not allowed to have a sense of humor these days?
I'm not used to
I
people
assume
of your
so.
possession being funny.
Of my
Of your
position?
yeah.
Well, frankly, I think that's extremely rude of you to say. But I suppose I can understand why a man of your profession might have certain grudges against a gentleman of the bar like myself. Of course, I've left much of that behind me now. But
No.
what isn't... Yes?
I'm just saying, you better, unless you two get a room, you might as well start explaining what we have to do.
So your task is to figure out, as I said, who stole this book. The information that you need is that, well, let's just say these clothes that I'm wearing and these clothes that everyone else in this room are wearing do not have much storage space. So the person that you're looking for is going to be carrying a bag. Other information that you might need. The book, I hesitate to go into describing its exact nature. Should you need to identify it to any of the people that you speak with tonight, merely know that it was written by a man named Idon. It is a classical Greek volume of well, it's a translation, or not a translation, rather, a copy of a classical Greek volume. I'm not a man of significant enough wealth to own such a book myself that has survived the ages, but it contains the necessary information. And this book is something that I would prefer you don't put yourself in contact with. Now,
Interesting.
what I would like you to do is nothing aggressive. I simply want you to go get to know these people who may potentially have the book. Engage them in conversation. Maybe ask them some questions that might reveal some information about who has it, but I don't think there's any need to be too open about it. And then report back to me at the end of the night what you found. Is that understood?
And where will you be located at the end of the night?
Oh, I'll be here. I don't think you should have too much trouble picking me out of the crowd. I don't plan on leaving this party anytime soon, so I'm sure you'll be able to locate me once again.
All right.
When you have the information that I need. And let me make it clear that this will be rewarded if you all can complete this task for me to my satisfaction. Any other questions?
Yes. If this book is so important to you, then why don't you want us to just retrieve it for you?
Well, I wouldn't want you to risk creating some kind of scene at this party here tonight. I have more discreet methods of retrieval that I could plan on employing if you can merely discover the thief for me.
Okay.
Any other questions?
It'll be done.
I believe
Okay.
all mine have been answered. Yes.
All right, so as you guys sort of like look around this room and take in what your task is about to be, you can identify 5 people who are carrying some sort of a bag at this party. The first is a young woman, perhaps not young, nearing middle age, but still in her youth in a way, who is a beautiful woman, and she's moving about the party in a way that just bespeaks competence, and really interacting with everyone, and she seems to absolutely know what she's doing in this sort of an environment. The second is a man that you see sort of in a corner. He doesn't appear to be very happy to be at this party, and he does appear to be sort of avoiding conversation. The third is a tall man with oily, dark hair, who is, well, he's attending the party, I suppose. I'm just trying to give you identifiers before you actually meet these people so you can tell me who you want to go meet, which is turning out to be more of a challenge. A second woman who is sort of speaking to a crowd. She seems like she has a lot of people gathering around her, and she doesn't seem completely comfortable getting this sort of attention, but she doesn't seem to be able to avoid it either. And the last two are the most easily identifiable. There is a man with one leg who is walking on some like makeshift wooden crutches and holding a sort of leather messenger bag. And there is a man who is dressed also in a way that sort of sticks out, but in a completely different way. This man is wearing a more colorful garment with like more layers to it. It's still clearly not like a modern garment, but it's like more flowy. There's more layers involved, and it's these like bright red, yellow, orange colors. And he's also wearing a conical leather cap that just sort of it reminds you of a dunce cap, sort of. It's that sort of hat, but it's made of just like brown leather. It's very plain. So these are the people who are potentially your suspects. These are the people who, for one reason or another, brought a bag to a toga party. So, what are you guys doing?
Would we like
I
to?
think I'll go after.
I'll go after one-legged guy.
The one-legged guy.
Yeah,
I'll
'cause
go
maybe he
after
lost
the
his,
woman
his leg in the
speaker.
war. We can talk.
Okay.
What-
So, where are you going, Enzo?
The woman speaking to the crowd.
Okay. Dylan? have a plan?
I will approach the attractive woman, the pretty girl.
The attractive one.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, the first one.
Yes.
What about Sophie and Sam?
I don't like the looks of that man in the corner.
The nervous man at the corner. Yep. Okay. And Sophie?
And I go for the with the colorful garments.
The colorful garments. All right. I guess we're doing this one at a time. Any preference on who goes first?
Why don't we roll to see who goes first?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
Just like roll against your. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying we all just roll like a d20 and see what happens.
You just want to use a d20.
I
That's
do.
the whole reason you're proposing this. Sure. Yeah. If we want to
Question.
sort of.
Bought this dice. I'm going to use it.
Were we allowed to go 2 people to 1 suspect?
Yeah, if you want to. You can split this up like
Can I
any
look-
way that you want. I mean, it'd look a little weird if like 6 of you were talking
Yeah,
to, or
that-
5 of you were talking to one
Yeah,
person.
I was actually gonna pose that question, but
Definitely wanted to go to the woman that Dylan is going to, the first one.
The first woman?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
if you'd like to approach it
Um,
with me, yes.
Okay. Anybody else changing their choice? No? Okay, where are we going first? Anybody have preference?
Are
Does
we
anybody
rolling?
want to go first?
Shall we roll a d20?
If you want to.
I rolled an 18.
All right.
I rolled a 10.
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
Oh boy. If somebody gets a nat 20 on this, I swear to God.
I rolled a 20,
Completely
a 10 as
mechanically
well.
irrelevant. You rolled a 20?
10.
Oh, okay.
To roll.
Okay.
Here. I'll re-roll so it doesn't match Ethan's. That's another 10. 13.
Waited.
Okay, so 1, 2, Dylan's 3, Ethan's 4. Sophie, where are you?
I got 19.
A 19. Okay, so
So-
Enzo
okay.
or Sophie is
Okay.
going. Well, and or Sophie is going
Let's
with Dylan,
have
right?
Sophie
They're visiting
and
the
Dylan.
same person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll do that in that order.
Let's
We'll
have-
do it based on Dylan's roll. All right. So Enzo, you're approaching the woman who looks like she's drawing a bit of a crowd. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah, you cross the room over to her, and she's not like giving a speech or anything. It just looks like she has a lot of people who are interested in talking to her, right now. And as you get a little bit closer to her, you can see that she has a pen, and she's signing like bits of paper and napkins and things like that for these people. So how do you want to approach this? How do you think you get her attention?
I take a napkin off of one of the tables,
Okay.
and I slowly stride over towards her. And while she's signing someone else's napkin, I slowly lift it up and say, "Can I get your autograph?"
All right. Okay, so she says, "Well, of course, yeah, obviously," and she signs your napkin, and she looks like she's expecting you to just like take this and go away, and she looks like that's what she wants you to do, right? She doesn't seem like she really expects or wants to engage in an extended conversation with you. She's just sort of being polite and giving you the autograph that
Okay.
you want.
Okay. After she signs it, I say, "Hey, do you want my autograph?" And then I reach out my hand and say, "Mark Chase."
Are you famous, Mr. Chase?
Smooth man.
And you're struck, of course, I should have mentioned this before. When she speaks, you're struck by the fact that she speaks with an American accent.
I have a bit of a name in America. I'm assuming that's where you're from, judging by
Why-
your accent.
Yes, of course. I've never heard of you. What do you do?
Well, you see, I'm a bit of a musician where I come from. I'm a part of this band in Boston, and we try to put on jazz concerts whenever we can to help soothe everyone's troubles after the Great War.
I see. Well, I'm a New Yorker myself, so it's understandable that I've never heard of you, but I do love the jazz music. I'm very disappointed that it hasn't made it over here so strongly yet. What instrument do you play?
Instrument? Oh. I play the saxophone.
The saxophone. Of course, Mr. Sax, great engineer. And she asks, she says, "Would you like to go discuss this over some food?"
Oh, I'd love that with a lovely woman such as yourself.
She kind of rolls her eyes at that. You can tell that that's not exactly what she's interested in. She's just like glad to have someone to talk to that isn't like completely fawning over her. But despite the fact that you've made just this terrible line, the two of you, she moves past a table and grabs a glass of wine as she's on her way, and she goes to sit down at sort of like the middle of one of these long tables through the room that have lots of seating out there, and there's not really anyone too near to you. I'm assuming you sit across the table from her?
Yes.
All right, so what do you say?
I say, what exactly got you so interested in jazz music in the first place?
Oh, well, you know, you go to these parties, especially in the States, less so here, but you go to these parties and you hear these musicians playing, and, you know, it's got so much more spirit than the sort of music that you would normally hear in a music hall, and I appreciate that about it. I appreciate the artistry, and I'll be honest, I don't know very much about it. I'm not a musician myself, but I do enjoy listening to it when I get the chance.
Do you happen to know many instruments?
Oh, no, not at all. My instrument is the typewriter, you see. I don't play anything myself. But you know, I have some use of my fingers, I'd say.
Oh. Anything that is portable you can carry around with you on the fly?
Excuse me?
As in, like writing? Do you have like a pen always with you, like a notebook or something in that big bag of yours?
Oh, in my bag. Yeah, I
Yeah.
carry some papers around in my bag typically. You know, I like to keep track of the things that I'm working on. Maybe I'm a little bit paranoid, but I do get nervous about leaving it places. You know, my work is valuable, and I don't want other people getting a hold of it. But I don't tend to do much writing in public places, no.
Are there any sort of subjects that interest you? History, different cultures?
Don't you know my writing, Mr. Chase?
Any?
You asked for my
Um,
autograph.
Yes. The thing is that I've been all over. I've just been all over everywhere. I've been visiting family here, and I barely get time to read. I do have your book, though. I've cracked open the first couple of pages, but
Mr. Chase.
unfortunately, I've had.
Mr. Chase, I haven't written a book.
That's strange. I could have sworn I saw your name somewhere, but
Well, I'm sure you have
I'll
seen
take
my
that
name
one.
somewhere, but it's certainly not on a book. You see, I write for periodicals mostly. Some people would call it, some more judgmental people perhaps would call it low fiction, but I write for science fiction stories for serial publications. You'll understand. And they are quite popular.
Okay.
Frankly, I'm not sure whether to be intrigued or offended that you've pretended to know who I am.
I apologize. It's just been everything gets sort of hazy and everything, especially with just all the going-ons. What is your favorite story that you've written?
Oh, my favorite story. It's The Mystery of the Pharaoh's Tomb. Of course.
Ah.
It's, you know, I really enjoy sort of the element of adventure that's in that story. A lot of my stories can be a bit grim and maudlin, but I like that one has a sort of an active hero and maybe a bit more of a positive resolution.
Grim, eh? Huh.
One could say that.
I guess. How much grim are we talking here? Do you kill off the hero of your own story just when he's about to save the day? That sort of grim?
Well, let's just say that the characters of mine that survive don't typically hang on to most of their sanity.
Ah. Well, very foreboding. I think that
What I do.
despite everything, there certainly is a place for such writing like yours.
Well, I'd certainly hope so. It certainly sells.
Are there any sort of authors or books that you take any sort of inspiration from?
Well, I do lots of research for my work. I like to take inspiration from, I guess, history in a way. Much of my work is based in sort of the antiquities. You see, I guess the Mystery of the Pharaoh's Tomb being an example of that. I find old objects and artifacts fascinating, and a common theme in my stories is the idea of these artifacts having some kind of magical power that perhaps the hero can never fully understand.
Ah. So, characters often in these stories poke their heads around where they're not supposed to and end up in quite a bit of trouble.
Yes, Mr.
Is
Chase,
that-
I'd say that's exactly the case.
Oh. Intriguing.
Now, is there something
Wow.
else you wanted?
Have you heard anything about the man who's hosting this event? I think he seems very affluent and very well endowed in the arts, if I do say so myself.
Well, I'm afraid I don't know exactly who the host is of this event. I wasn't aware that anyone did. Please, enlighten me.
He seems to be a very artistic guy, very driven, enjoys a lot of writing. I think if you could maybe talk to him about a couple of your interests, I think maybe you find a lot in common.
Well, of course, if you could point him out to me, I'd be happy to go speak to him. You know, interesting company at parties like these are so hard to come by. A more well-known man such as yourself is aware of the struggle.
Ah, yes. I do believe that he is over there.
So who are you
And
pointing to?
I'm pointing
Are you just
to...
pointing out a random guy?
I'm pointing out the actual guy.
Oh, he's
Can I
not
do
the
that?
host. He's just here. Yeah, you can do that. You can like tell her that he's the host, but he's not the host.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do you want to walk this back? I didn't mean to give you the impression that he was like hosting a party at the British Museum. This is hosted by a sort of like conglomerate of like employees of the museum that are also these like wealthy academic types that are sort of holding like a society gathering. It's not like someone's party, you know.
Okay.
First retcon of the game.
So are we going back and assuming that you didn't just try to introduce your mysterious benefactor as the host?
Sure, if we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take whatever mercy we can get in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair policy. I'm gonna say that I maybe wasn't clear enough about exactly what was going on here and let you
Okay.
have that back.
Okay.
So was there something else that you wanted?
Man over here told me you were the host.
I have to role play
What?
with myself.
I'm not
to
the
explain
host.
This away. Oh my
He's like,
God.
oh, did he now?
Sorry, that's my younger brother. He's illiterate.
The game ends in the first session because no one knows how to read or write. Okay.
I have your book. Oh,
One of
do
those,
you? Yeah, it's because I can't read
Wiggly
names on
papers
the
or
phone.
whatever. Remember those Wiggly papers with the doodads that the smart people were like,
Reads it to me,
you know, those
obviously.
things.
I do also just want to point out, Lorenzo, that you have not asked for this woman's name yet, and that might be an important piece of information.
Well, I have it on the handkerchief. No.
Oh yeah, I suppose you do. That's very clever. I
Yeah.
didn't even think of that.
Wow.
So her name is
Wow.
Lucy Crawford. So you
Lucy
might refer her as
Crawford.
like Ms. Crawford or something like that. All right. So is there anything else I can do for you, Mr. Chase?
No, I don't think so, but I think I do know something or someone that you can do for, and then I point to our mysterious benefactor, and I say, I've just recently talked to him, and he's very affluent in a lot of history and the arts, and I think you two would find a lot in common. I think, he's definitely dabbled in some writing. It's not as to the degree nor fame that yours is, but it's getting there. I think that you two could exchange a couple of notes, maybe a few words, and I think you both would learn a lot from each other.
Well, I'd be happy to, I suppose. And you see her get up and walk over towards Samuel Langley. And you see them start to like engage in conversation, and you can see that she's sort of opened up this conversation, and she points over at you and she says, "This guy, from your distance, you can tell that she's sort of saying, this guy said this, and this about you, and I'm interested to hear more about you." And you can see Langley just like turn and give you a look like, like, why did you just tell blatant lies to this woman
Did she
about
have a
me? To
bag
what
on her?
She does.
Did
She
she
does
have her
still have the
bag
bag
on
on her. Yes, she is still
Okay.
carrying that around. But you have no idea
Okay.
what's in that. She told you that it's papers. You don't have like necessarily any reason to believe that she's telling the truth about that. But you also don't have any reason to believe that she's lying about that. You have not acquired any concrete information from this conversation other than that this is Lucy Crawford and she is a writer of Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
So
Well done.
let's move on to the next person. Sam was next, and you were approaching the
man in the
nervous.
corner.
Yeah, the man in the corner. Okay, so he's not talking to anyone. He's not like engaged in any kind of conversation. He's just sort of like sitting in this chair that he's like pulled away from a table, looking at his hands. He's fidgeting quite a bit. He's just looking generally uncomfortable to be there. How do you approach him?
I'm gonna walk up to him. I'm gonna say, "Damn blasted party. Came in here looking to sample the drinks and a bunch of freaks in togas.
Well, why did they let you in?
Well, who says they let me in, eh?
Oh, well, that's quite an admission. Sir, I'm afraid I'm really quite busy and cannot take the time to be engaged in conversation right now. It's been a pleasure making your acquaintance, but I'd appreciate my peace and quiet, if you don't
Oh,
mind.
please, sir. Please, sir. I was wondering if you could take a walk with me. I'd like to see some of the other exhibits. Maybe find the wine cellar, if you know what I mean.
The museum is closed, sir.
All right. Look, man, I got to tell you something.
Okay.
The other day, my dog ran in here.
Your
He
dog.
ran in here and he got lost. I need to find him. That's why I'm in here in the first place. That's why I'm not exactly here for the art. Do you know anything about that?
I assure you that I would be well aware if there was a live dog among our collections. And I have heard nothing of the sort. So I'm afraid your dog must have run into a different giant marble building.
Can I just like take a look? I'm gonna look at his bag. I'm like eyeballing it.
Like the exterior of his bag?
Yeah, I want to see if I can make out if it's like heavy or something or.
Do you have my dog in there?
Let me see if there's a skill
steal my
that
dog?
you can roll for
You
this.
filthy dog napper!
Notice how I didn't bother making you check fast talk on the dog lie, because there was no chance that he was going to believe that.
Yeah.
Like, never in a million years was this man going to buy that your dog ran into the British Museum and
Now that I
it's just
think
been
about it-
here for a few days.
Now that I think about it, my guy isn't the best on his own and probably should have just been the muscle to someone else.
Maybe. Why don't you do a spot hidden check, and I'll let you know if there's anything
Okay.
unusual that I can tell you about this bag.
Okay. My spot hidden is 25%,
Okay.
and I got 7.
That's a very good roll. 25.
Yeah, I mean- 7.
So that's a hard success? Yeah. All right. So what you can see about this bag is that it's sort of like a leather messenger bag. It's got the one big main pocket with the flap over top of it and sort of 2 pockets on the flap, if you know what I'm talking about. And what you can pretty apparently tell about this bag is that it is looking like deflated. It does not look like there's anything holding this bag into shape. If you had to guess, you would say that this bag is either like completely empty or it's holding like a couple sheets of paper. Whatever is in here is taking up very little space.
Okay. You've really heard nothing?
No, nothing about a dog, sir. And I assure you that I would have if there was a dog in this museum.
I apologize for bothering you. Can I get your names that I might check back?
Augustin. Sure. Eric Augustin, PhD.
Nice to meet you. Phil Harbor.
Okay. Phil,
And
Phil Harbor is the name you just gave this man. All right, let me write that down.
so
You
given
also
that
give
I've
yourselves aliases
given
just to make
that-
the work harder for Alex.
Given that,
So the general impression that I'm getting is that this guy works here, and given that he works here and his bag looks empty, I don't think this guy is up to anything suspicious. He's just trying to do his job.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna leave him alone for now.
okay. All right, who's
Much
next?
like he asked you to.
Sophie and Dylan.
Sophie and Dylan will be next.
Yes,
Who
I
are you
believe so.
approaching?
The first woman.
Yes.
The very
The
attractive
first woman.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So, did I describe her as very attractive? I said that
Yes.
she was sort of young,
said she's
like not quite
attractive-ish.
middle aged. She is
Yeah, like
attractive. I don't know,
almost
like why
middle-aged.
very attractive is the adjective that you
Yeah, I said that's
fixated upon here. All right, so you look like you're like beginning to approach this woman, and she just like immediately seizes on the opportunity, and she walks up to you, and proffers her hand out, and she says, "Anna Baxter, pleased to meet you."
Good afternoon, Anna.
That's Miss Baxter to you.
Oh, Miss Baxter, I'm quite sorry. My name is Dr. James Masterson, and this here is
Dr.
my.
Masterson, are you an
Yes.
American?
Yeah, I was born in America, but I have recently
And,
moved.
And a doctor of what?
I am a psychiatrist, actually.
Psychiatrist, fascinating. How novel.
Well,
You know,
why,
these,
thank
these new sciences all up in the world.
you. Yes,
So-
of course.
So pleasing to meet an expert in one of them. And who might you be,
Thank you.
Miss?
My name's Elizabeth Murphy, Miss
Another
Baxter. How are you?
American. It's a pleasure to meet so many charming young folks in this city. Now, what do you do for a living? Of course, I shouldn't ask. You're simply a wife, correct?
Yes, that is very correct. I take care of my husband at home. We have 2 kids, and it's a wonderful, simple life.
And where is home? I've never seen you at a party like this before.
Oh, well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I came here to visit, with my husband and my kids, and they're off gallivanting somewhere, I assume, and I decided, hey, I might as well come to this museum. I'm often fond of art.
I see. How strange. Now, what was it that you were looking for?
Oh, we're just trying to meet new people, get acquainted with everyone.
Well, it's always a pleasure to meet new people, of course.
So, what is it that
Happy to meet you.
you do?
Oh, well, I'm not employed, of course. I was
of course.
a loving wife for some number of years, but unfortunately my husband recently passed.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
And,
My condolences.
well, I'm of course happy to accept your condolences. It's a tragedy, his passing, but I'm lucky enough, as many women are not, to be well taken care of after his death. He's left me certainly more than enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life, and so mostly what I do is I come to parties like this, and I generally live the good life.
Nice. Must be nice to talk to so many people.
Oh, very nice. Yes, I learn lots of things.
What? Pardon me. What have you learned anything fascinating at this party? We're trying to approach as many people and get to know the current residents. What's some fascinating information you have learned at this party?
Oh, well, you see, the latest gossip is that Mrs. Bates and Mrs. And she just, sort of goes off on this, long rant about a completely, you've never heard of either of these people, and they have some weird dispute over the location of a hedge. She's, clearly fascinated in any and all information that she could acquire. And so, as you're listening to this speech, what's your game plan? What are you trying to get out of her here?
Well, she seems.
I'm really invested in this now.
I do
Hedges.
not have-
Please, Alex.
Yeah.
Please tell us about this hedge.
I do not have a resolution to the hedge.
Well, she seems to be very
You didn't
interested
even
in
have a hedge
knowledge.
story.
She seems to be very interested in knowledge, so I'm
Right.
going to question her about the types of knowledge she's interested in, including literature.
Yeah.
Oh.
She seems like very much a socialite. She's very social, which displays confidence, maybe even overconfidence, which would be useful for somebody who's trying to steal something.
Sophie, can you, not your character, can you make a psychoanalysis check to be able to say that? I'm kidding.
Maybe?
That's a
What?
joke. No, you don't have that. It's
Okay.
fine.
They funny.
So, you're asking her about her interest in literature.
Yes.
Oh, I do love literature, especially the classics. I think they're underappreciated right now. There's lots of modern writers that people are reading, but I do enjoy myself some Latin. I'm fluent in Latin, and collecting these older texts is, one could say, a bit of a hobby of mine.
Oh, really? Well, I am quite a fan of ancient Greek literature.
Greek?
That yes. That is a major reason I have come to the UK. It's
Of course.
to expand and see and be closer to where I have such an interest in.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking to acquire? I might be able to facilitate.
Really? Well, I
I
see.
have quite a collection myself, and I do know the right people to talk to.
Oh, that is wonderful. Actually, I am looking for one specific piece. If you wouldn't mind me, one moment
Sure.
to check my notes.
He's checking his notes for the name that I said.
No. I'm checking
Did
my
everybody
notes.
else
Like
write that
I
name
said.
down?
Yeah, I did. It's
Idon, I believe.
Dawn.
Idon. Yes.
She looks at you for a moment, and she sort of turns her head, like what you've just said is really interesting.
Mhm.
And she's clearly contemplating what she's going to say next, and then she says, "Isn't it funny how once you've heard a thing once, it suddenly starts popping up again?"
Oh yes, that does happen quite often.
Well,
ha-
have you heard? Have you heard of Idon before?
I have, yes, for the first time
Have
very
you read-
recently, actually.
Oh,
really?
No, I
Read
don't. I
any
don't
of the
read. I don't read Greek. I only read in Latin. Unfortunately. No, I the name came up. Well, I'm not sure if I should say, to be honest with you, but I was.
What
Actually, I don't think I should share.
what makes you hesitant? May I ask?
Well, a collector such as yourself will understand that the rigors of acquiring certain objects sometimes require contacts in less than savory positions.
Oh yes, of course.
I understand. I fully understand.
And I just don't think that I can give up any information right now.
Of course. I mean, I think we've all had our shares of being in not so savory situations like these.
Oh yes.
Of course.
Let's see. So, is there any information that you might be willing to share? It does seem that you are very active and love to discuss. So, is there any information you'd like to share about who you have heard the name from, or just what context? Have you heard it at this party? Perhaps.
Not at this party, no.
No.
What I can say
Mhm.
is that a person who I cannot name did make an offer to me that was out of my price range.
Oh.
Do you know where this person acquired this object that was of great price?
I tend not to ask those questions.
Ah. Was he, well, assuming that he's a man, correct?
Oh, I don't know about that. It's quite an assumption, don't you think?
Perhaps.
May I ask? I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrogate you. This is not what we were doing.
No. Of
I have been
course.
searching for this.
I understand completely.
Yes, I've been searching for this piece of text for quite some time now, and it very much intrigues me. But so this person, have you are they a frequent party goer? Would you say that? Because
I wouldn't say that they necessarily enjoy parties the most, but I would say that they are frequently obligated to attend them.
Oh, okay. Would this be due to expanding their own collection, or selling, or maybe their position? What would it be? Perhaps a name that we might recognize.
I don't think you'd recognize the name. No.
You don't think we'd recognize? Okay.
No.
Well.
May I ask, you see, my husband brings in lots of money. You see, and I was actually wondering to purchase this kind of thing, perhaps as a gift for him. He's also a very fond of Greek literature. Do you know where I could locate this person that has this text?
I really don't think I can give up that sort of information to people that I've just met. You understand?
Yes, I
Yes, quite.
fully understand.
You'll understand as collectors yourself how important it is to me that I keep my sources open and available.
Oh, quite.
And I cannot jeopardize their identity in such a way.
Yes, I understand.
Now you say that is for people who you have recently become acquainted with. Is there a way we could become more acquainted? Maybe over a glass of wine, perhaps.
Make a charm check.
Charm check. I was like, what is my charm? My charm is 75.
Wow. It's really high. Like
I thought Lorenzo was the charming one.
Yeah.
apparently
Now I just feel inadequate.
Dylan coming out here like, oh yeah.
Did you just
I
fail
put
that
all
roll,
of my
Dylan?
I rolled a
stats into charm.
77.
Oh my
Would
god.
you like to push the roll?
Using some of my luck.
Well, I guess we should explain this to the viewers. You
Yes.
could spend luck or you could push the roll. So the way this game works is that if you fail a roll, you can either just like let that failure stand and say I don't want to push this any further, or you can do something called pushing a roll, which is basically double or nothing. If you're pushing a roll, you're saying I'm going to try this again, but this time if I fail again, it is a critical failure rather than just a normal failure. And then players have a certain number of luck points that they can expend on improving the result of a roll. So if Dylan were to spend like 3 of his luck points right now, he could make this be a successful roll.
I'll actually just spend some of my luck points.
Okay, so reduce your luck points by 3.
Yes. That will bring me down to 57. All right.
And she says, "Of course, sir. I'd be happy to sit down with you. And will you be coming with us, miss?"
Oh, I better get back at some point. I think I'm going to look at the appetizers, actually. But it was very, very nice meeting you, ma'am.
Of course, wonderful to meet you. I hope to see you again. And so James, you and Ms. Baxter, go find your way over to a table. And Sophie, what are you doing now?
Can I head over to other people?
You can, but you're not going to be next in the line. We have to do Ethan first.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so who are you going to be approaching, or do you want to be joining like one of these conversations in progress? If you want to like go find Ethan, I can say that you approach that conversation at some point, or if you want to just go talk to somebody new, we'll get to that after.
There is still one person we
There
have
is one
not.
person you haven't met.
Yeah, at some point, like after everyone else is done, I'll go head over to the man with the colorful garments.
Oh, there's 2 people that you haven't met.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, Ethan, who are you seeing again?
I'm seeing the one-legged dude.
The one-legged dude, of course.
One-legged dude.
So
Yo,
you,
bro, what's up with that stump?
you can see that he's just sort of
Stop,
sitting here.
bro.
He's in his chair. He has his crutches like propped up on the table next to him, and he has the bag sitting like in his lap. And you can see that he's like sort of holding a conversation or occasionally saying a few words to some people that are standing nearby, but he's not really engaged with anyone. So how do you approach this guy?
Can I from a distance see? Does this man look like his leg is his lack of leg is causing any like pain or uncomfort?
He doesn't look comfortable. I don't know if at this range you can tell whether or not that is related to his injury. What you can tell is like this is clearly like not it's not bandaged or anything. He has it is not bandaged to your sight. He has like the leg of his pants tied beneath the stump.
Yeah.
So like you cannot see the stump itself, but you can tell that it's probably not a super fresh wound.
Yeah. He's had time to sew up all his pants.
Yes, precisely, exactly, yeah.
So I approach him.
Uh-huh.
And my costume is should be like a medical cross, whatever. It's fine. I look like a medic. No, I go to him, ask him if I'm like, excuse me, sir, is
So correct me if
Your
I'm
leg
wrong.
seems-
You're wearing like a military uniform, yeah?
yes, like a military, like a frontline medic kind of.
Okay, so
uniform.
this is
Like
like a
military
like British khaki.
Yeah.
You look like a soldier, or like somebody who served in the war.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, come up to him. Excuse me, sir. Your limb seems to be bothering you. Your leg. Is there any way I could help?
Well, I'm afraid lots of people have tried, but I don't think there's anything you can do for me. No. It's
Do
sort
you
of
mind ask?
immediately striking you that this guy is like not happy in any way. He's like super low at like there's an Eeyore vibe to this gentleman, if that makes sense.
I should ask him if you don't mind me asking. How did it happen?
Well, I was serving in the expeditionary force in South Africa, actually, before the war. And when we got pulled in to serve in Europe, I was at Mons in August, very early in the war. And you know, these were back in the days when we didn't treat officers with so much respect as we do now, or perhaps more respect, depending on your perspective, I suppose. But these were the days when I was expected to put on my white gloves and draw my saber to signal a charge, as ridiculous as that sounds. And more through bad fortune than anything else, I caught a bullet just above my knee, and was too injured to carry on fighting.
I saw many wounds in the war. I also came over in the expeditionary force. I was a medic stationed with platoon in Cesson.
Wow. Where? When did you serve?
It wasn't quite at the beginning of the war.
Mhm.
I came in about late 1914 or 15.
I see. I'm afraid I would have already been off the continent by then. It's a great source of shame to me, I suppose, that I wasn't able to serve my country for longer. But I can take some pride that I did all I could.
What do you spend the rest of the war doing, if you mind me asking? You couldn't spend it on the continent.
My recovery has been less than successful, I suppose you could say. I've been rendered, as many young men have by this war, I've been rendered something of an invalid. Even in my lack of limb, I am maybe not as functional as appearances would grant you to believe. I've been plagued by pains in the places where my leg once was, and learning to deal with my new way of life has been challenging.
Understandable. Well,
And he holds his hand out to you, by the way, and he says, Colonel Garrison Clay, and he shakes your hand, just so that you know his name. Now that you've had this like little moment,
Did you say his name was Garrison Clay?
Garrison Clay. We got creative with the names.
I can tell.
That's not even the worst one in here.
Oh no.
Go on.
I reach my hand out to shake his hand and go, medic, well, ex-medic, Rhiannon Bryan.
It's been wonderful to meet you.
Well, to meet you too. I take a seat down next to him.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting to come back and see how everything has changed after time on the continent. The whole atmosphere around England.
Yes, I suppose that must have been very strange. I was here myself for most of the time, so of course I wasn't so surprised at the change on the home front. But having been gone for all 4 years of the war and returning must have been quite a shock to see the ways in which the home had changed.
It was. It's interesting to come back, seeing how everything had changed.
Where is this going? What is your plan?
Big old waffle.
I have found some solace though in reading stories, ones I used to read before the war to the young children I used to read to under the family I was hired under.
Stories are practically all I have left these days. What sort of things do you read? What do you enjoy?
Personally, I'm a more fan of the more classical kind of writing. I'll be honest, I'm not the finest reader. I never had a true proper education, but my time on the continent, my time working for other families taught me many ways of reading. I do enjoy the old epics.
You read Greek?
Uh,
To be perfectly honest with you, and judgment free, of course, but to be perfectly honest, you don't strike me as the sort of person who reads English.
well, to be fair, I didn't for a long time.
Can we roll for damage on that one?
Those were fighting words.
Roll for a burn damage there.
Read any such
Yes.
classical literature. I'm more a fan of the sort of things that I can get in paperback and in magazines, and as are being, continually published in our modern world. It's hard to get access to as much as I would like to read, so I'm often relying on the newest thing, so to speak.
True. What type of things do you enjoy reading? Of the variety which you speak?
Oh, anything that I can get my hands on, really. I do enjoy some of the more, let's say, modern genres. I like science fiction and fantasy and the horror, of course. The things which one might find in a magazine that you could pick up, perhaps titled Strange Tales or something so dramatic. You did not. You had like half an hour to think of a game plan for this conversation. You have nothing.
I was listening. Okay. Also, what plan I did have went out the quick.
Were you planning on hitting on this guy, but then he was depressed, so you stopped? Was that the plan? Because it seems like that was the plan.
No, that was not the plan. I was intending for him to stay in the war longer.
Oh, so sorry.
Where was I? Yes. Okay. Quick question.
Sure. For the
point.
keeper or for the character?
For the keeper.
Okay.
For the keeper. I know in D&D the big rule is like if it didn't happen specifically to you, your character does not know. In a party like this, would I have heard rustlings around of the other
The other
The author?
investigators?
woman? No,
author.
no, not the other. The yeah, like rustlings of like people talking about the person that Enzo went to see. Enzo, wherever he is compared to me.
Lucille Crossword or Lucy Crossword.
Lucy Crawford.
Lucy
So
Your articles
Lucy
are
Crossword.
Hi, I'm a
crossword.
writer. My name is Lucy Crossword.
Guess what I create?
So I
Your
think these
parents.
Oh yes,
conversations.
my friend the butcher over there, Charles Meathook.
So I don't think you've just like stood there and waited while the other four people went to have their conversations, right? I think this is happening like mostly simultaneously. So I don't think you're aware of anything about that person,
Okay.
other than that there's someone vaguely famous here.
Okay. So, is there any particular authors you like?
Oh well, I enjoy Most things, really. Most anything that appears in print before me. A
Have you ever
particular
heard of
favorite, though, would be
crosswords?
Lucy Crossword. This is clearly what you want me to say, so I'm just going to say it. I want to know what your next move is. You don't know that Lucy Crossword exists. Why do you want this man to admit that?
Her name wasn't even Lucy Crossword.
Mister, it's the crossword on Sundays, didn't you know?
We have a guy from the military named Garrison. We have somebody who writes named Crossword.
Would you rather his name be Gary?
Gary. Garrison's it's better, but just.
Would you rather his last name be
Hi, my name's
Minesweeper?
Colonel Gary.
Colonel Gary.
Anyway. Meow.
All right.
Alright, let's
next?
continue.
What's happening?
Let's continue.
Back in character.
Yes, back in character.
Mhm.
Yes, I haven't read too many of her, but from what I have read, they seem interesting. Is there any you would recommend?
Well, The Mystery of the Pharaoh's Tomb is, of course, the best, as everyone knows. As canon is clearly established, The Mystery of the Pharaoh's Tomb is the best one. But aside from that, I do appreciate her more obscure works, like I Was Abducted by an Alien Gone Wrong. That's a personal favorite of mine.
Christ.
Please ask him what happens.
I'm so
Please ask him what happens. In that
I'm a big fan. One story I particularly read of hers was a short story compilation of pranks of the unknown.
Pranks? What's this prank you speak of? I don't know why this character voice has become what it is. I don't know how to get rid of it though.
Okay.
What is a? Pray tell, what is a prank? How have I not heard of this book?
It's a compilation of
What is a
short
prank?
stories where one's not quite in the realm of horror per se, but more as of an idea of haunting. Nothing quite too drastic happens, but they're generally built about an atmosphere of which someone would begin to feel uncomfortable about the unknown which they face in a new location.
I see. And are these stories illustrated, or do they come with photographs? Were there cameras at these pranks?
I didn't.
There was a man named Ashton Kutcher in there. Charming man, chat.
I've completely derailed this. I'm so
Alright, sorry, let's continue. Let's
I
continue.
love it. I love it. God damn it. Okay.
Very unprofessional of me.
Yes. No,
quite fine.
there were for some of them there were illustrations. One of the ones I found most interesting was about a man riding in a carriage late one night as hearing noises and sound as sounding like they were coming from the back of his wagon, but when he stopped to check there was nothing there.
Wow. Sounds
Yes.
creepy. What happened next?
Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. You seem to be a good fan of this.
Of course. I have never seen a copy of this book. I would need to acquire it for myself. Where might I get it?
I found mine at a small bookstore in Cardiff. Though I imagine you could find it somewhere here in London easily.
Cardiff.
Not my home, but where I've grown.
Well, I will have to go looking for that book. Where's this going, Ethan? What's the?
You ended in the middle of a sentence.
I don't.
You ended in the middle of a sentence.
I thought I was gonna say something after that, and I didn't have anything to say after that. I need you to have a direction to this conversation, so we're not just talking about fake literature for the next 2 hours.
That'd be a great first session.
Oh my god.
I asked him. Well, would you like to continue this this conversation over some
You want to join us for wine?
Some drinks and or finger sandwiches.
Like the ones that are on this table right behind us, or would you like to go somewhere else?
Let's see. There are some here, but I feel like there's more of a variety over there where people haven't really been.
Sure, let's go to the less picked over finger sandwiches. and you see this guy sort of like struggle to get up.
Can I help him get up?
Sure, I guess.
Do any of us notice? Do any of the other people here notice that Miss? What's your character's
There are
name?
more sandwiches over there. Sorry.
Sophie's name, or which one?
No, Ethan's. What's your character's name?
Yeah, Rhiannon Byrne. Excuse me, Byrne.
Do any of us else notice that Rhiannon Byrne is now walking with the one-leg man somewhere else?
I'm gonna say those of you who.
Hey, look, if I want to
Lorenzo
seduce a
and
man, it's
Sam-
none of your goddamn business.
I'm going to say Lorenzo and Sam, who have like already finished their conversation. Yeah, you can. If you're looking for this, you can see that this is happening. If you're like you've finished your conversations, and what you're doing now is like looking to see what your companions are up to. Then yeah, you can tell that you can see that.
Okay. I'd like to notice those two are walking
Thank
somewhere,
God.
and I want to shoot an eye
what's
over
this?
to. I want to shoot an eye over to Mark to see if he sees what I'm seeing.
Mark.
I nod faintly.
And I want to nudge over, say like after you,
Okay. I go after him.
and I follow.
So you're like trying to enter this conversation.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You
Oh,
just
yeah.
happen to also go to peruse the less picked over finger sandwich.
Here, as we're walking up to him, can I come up and be like, please, allow me to help you, sir, and try to like give him some assistance walking.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you
Alright,
can do
cool.
that. Actually, make a. I'm gonna say charm check on that.
Oh no, my guy's ugly.
Seduce the man. Seduce him.
That's not the only thing that charm means.
All right, my charm's 15. 92.
Wow.
Ooh.
That is so
That is
close to
a-
being a fumble.
That's
It's not a
a
fumble.
charming boy.
It is not quite a fumble. So this guy just sort of like, have you like laid hands on him? Do you do that before asking him whether or not he needs help?
I'm coming up
Okay.
at him like this.
So he just sort of
Comes
like
up at him like you're about to start a song and the music goes.
he just sort of like shoos you away with one hand as he like finishes struggling to get up and then gets his crutches under him and starts moving across the room.
Mhm.
He does
Apologies,
not
sir.
your help.
I'm sure an army man like you doesn't need anyone's help.
I should hope not.
Hey.
Enzo, what is your play? What is your move here?
I just I console Sam's character by just gently patting him on the shoulder, and then I just sort of saunter
Lean
after.
in and just go soon.
I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be touched.
You're just like following these, like 3 steps behind them, following them across the room without introducing yourself. That's your
Yeah,
plan.
he's a stalker.
1 second. After I
like that, I
Yes.
suppose not.
after I console Sam's character,
Mhm.
or I start walking along with Ethan's character and Garrison Clay, and I introduce myself. I say hello, Mark Chase, and then I just ask him a few general questions about what he did in the war and thanking him for his service. And asking him if he needs any help.
And I'm just gonna
He's just avoiding the entire conversation I just had.
Yeah, we're not gonna repeat that.
Okay.
and I'm just gonna
But
stay
we're-
behind
Say,
Mark.
do you happen
as
to
if-
like to read Pulp Fiction?
I'm gonna stay behind
you
Mark
must-
as if I'm his like.
You have to
and
read
kinda
this one
like
about the
buddy.
man who turns himself into a pickle. It is
Oh my
hilarious.
Sorry,
Sam,
Sam,
continue.
please.
Hilarious.
Sam,
Yes, Sam.
go on.
Please.
Murphy is going to kind of like stay like one step behind Mark as if he's like his buddy.
Okay. All right, Sophie, what are you doing right now? Because you've exited the conversation that Dylan is in. What is your game plan? Are you gonna try and join this other
I
group,
said
or are
I was
you?
gonna- I want to talk to the guy that I was talking about earlier with the very colorful colors.
The colorful clothes guy. Okay.
Yes.
So you see that this guy is perhaps the most normally situated person that you've seen so far. He's chatting with like a small group of people, but he's not like particularly engaged with them. He's just like kind of chilling, doing party sorts of stuff. So how do you approach him? How do you start this conversation?
Okay, well, I walk up to him. I'm like, hello, my name is Elizabeth Murphy. What's your name? That was a really weird.
Let me check what his name is. Charles Greeley. Pleased to meet you.
Wait, what was the name again?
Charles Greeley. Greeley. Greeley.
Oh, come on, Greeley.
No, come on.
You're out of the troop, Ethan. I'm sorry.
You hurt my
okay.
soul.
I'll just.
Oh,
But I warm the cockles of your heart.
The what of my heart?
The cockles of your heart.
I'll just
Like the shellfish?
do that. Yeah. There we go.
Oh God, I don't want those in my heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Let's continue the story,
cockles
please.
of your heart.
Yeah. All right. So,
Wait.
The heart.
Sophie, back to you, please.
Okay, so I'm like,
We had so much focus for so long, and then
We
we
did.
had to bring pranks into it. It's off the rails.
No. I think the accurate representation was focused for really long, and then I started
yeah.
talking.
it was
True,
like-
very true.
Someone brought pranks into this.
All right. Yes. Let's please get back on track.
Yes.
Okay,
Alex, take away.
so how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing well. How are you? What brings you to this sort of party? I haven't seen you around here before.
Oh well, I'm visiting. I'm visiting London, just sightseeing and everything, and I decided to come here. I'm rather fond of art and museum things.
Well, there's no better place for those in the world. Britain's
Exactly.
pride, of course, this museum.
Yes. So where are you from?
Well, right here in London, of course, born and raised. I work here at the museum, actually.
Oh, interesting. What do you do here?
I am a classicist. I specialize in Greek and Roman texts and artifacts.
Oh, very interesting. I'm rather fond of Greek texts.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you don't find that sort of person often. What do you read?
Oh well, I'm. Give me a second. I'm. Idon? Is that how you say it?
Yes, that is how you say it.
I'm rather fond of Idon's work. I find it very interesting.
Hold on.
I don't think Idon's the name of the author.
I don't know.
Is it not?
Book.
So you
He said
can
it was
sor-
wrting by him.
Yeah, no, Idon is the right name. I was
Thank God.
doing
I thought it
other
was
things.
the name.
No, don't worry about
Okay,
that.
okay, good.
So this guy is like pretty noticeably aware of that name, but what he says is, "Oh, who's that? Never heard of that before."
Oh, well, he's just a Greek writer. Writes literature and all that.
What sorts of things?
I've only read a few of his pieces, but they're very interesting.
Well, that's fascinating. I'm honestly shocked that you've been able to name a Greek writer that I've never heard of.
Oh,
But I suppose it's good to meet a fellow connoisseur. Of course, you'll
yes.
appreciate my wardrobe if you're familiar with the subject.
Yes, it's very bright.
Very-
I was actually wondering, do you know where I could find perhaps copies of books, specifically Greek or Roman literature?
Well, bookshops tend to be a safe bet.
Yes, but of course I'm foreign to London, so I've never been here before. I'm not familiar with the locations of everything.
I see. Are you asking me where a bookshop is? That is your question.
Or, other places where I could perhaps purchase books.
Just purchase I see. Well, I suppose it depends on what exactly you're looking for. If you're looking for originals, that'll be significantly more difficult to find, of course. But translations and
Yes.
copies are abundant, and you can find these manuscripts in really any bookstore. May I recommend Oxford Circus? There's all sorts of stores there. You'll find some high quality books.
All right. Thank you very much. So,
Of course, you're welcome.
have you been to these sort of parties before? I mean, obviously you work here, so I can assume you have.
I do work here, yes. Of course, we host the Festival of Saturnalia every year. So I have been to exactly this sort of party before. And as much as I criticize their choice of festival, it never seems to change. You'll, of course, be aware of the rich irony of the fact that we're here for Saturnalia, of all things.
Very much, yes. So the attire doesn't change at all?
You don't know that. The attire.
Yes, I came here noticing that people seem to be wearing togas and things. Is that the same theme every year?
Of course, it's a chain. I know it's incorrect, but unfortunately, you cannot expect such level of fidelity to true history from these sorts of peoples. Of course, you'll know that
Absolutely.
togas were not commonly worn at the Festival of Saturnalia, and in fact, there were more specialized clothes for that, which I myself am wearing.
Yes.
Point of thing here. Technicality-wise, Alex, your camera's messing up and you're frozen on stream.
Am
You
I?
want to turn your video back on? Yeah.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know.
I look
'cause you're
fine to
currently loading
myself,
for
but
me.
I can try.
Yeah. Oh.
Enjoy my Lego Mark Twain statue for a minute.
Yes.
Okay, am I back?
man.
Let me know whether or not
Yes,
this
you're
is
back.
better
You're
now.
back.
Yay!
Okay.
Back.
What was I in the middle of saying? Probably
I don't
something
know.
dumb about Saturnalia.
Oh, togas and
Yeah.
how they weren't. Yeah.
Right.
How they
Of
weren't.
course.
like-
Oh, yes.
The traditional garb of Saturnalia was the synthesis, as I am wearing. But these people can't know that.
Yeah.
Purely for the fact that anyone who is attending a high society party based around the Festival of Saturnalia doesn't know much about Saturnalia.
Of course, they have different things to worry about, I assume.
You could say that.
So,
Cool.
Well, if you have nothing else to say, I'll be returning to my friends here.
very interesting. Yeah, it was very nice meeting you, Mr. Oh, fuck. Greeley.
Language.
Nice to meet you as well. Enjoy your evening.
Oh, you too.
And so this man turns away from you and goes back to chatting with his friends. So far, let's recap what we've learned as a group here. You have gotten that this guy does know who Idon is and lied to you about it. And you didn't ask any more questions on that subject.
Because I didn't want to be like suspicious.
Sure, I understand.
Yeah.
What else have we learned
Something's
about?
really bad at this game.
That
Apparently.
he works at the museum, so
He works at the
has
museum.
access to things that other people might not have access to.
Right, and he specializes in this specific area.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Sophie, are you
Sounds
taking
good.
hits from the KA here?
I mean,
Keeper.
I've made
Listen.
every single one of these NPCs incredibly suspicious. I do just want to point out how suspicious this guy is, though.
Yeah, he's extremely
Honestly,
suspicious.
the army guy isn't that suspicious.
Oh, that's because you haven't pursued the right line of questioning yet.
You've talked about fake literature.
Yeah, I've talked about
absolutely.
pranks way too much.
Do you like pranks?
We literally
Okay.
brought up Frank.
Okay.
Do you like pranks, bro?
So, do we want to do the group of three, or do we want to bounce back to Dylan for a minute before moving over to that conversation?
I'd say bounce back to Dylan.
Let's go back to Dylan. All right,
Okay.
so Dylan, you're still hanging out with Mrs. Anna Baxter.
Yes, I'm
the
going
widow,
for a glass of wine with Mrs. Anna
of
Baxter.
course. So, what sort of course of conversation are you aiming for here? How are you planning on earning her
Seduction.
trust?
Well,
Seduction.
all right. So it seems that she will only trust me with this information if I get to know her. So I ask her about her life outside of collections of literature.
Well, I collect things other than literature as well, but beyond that, that is most of my recreational time, I suppose you could say, my personal time. And of course, I'm well occupied with my social obligations here in London.
Oh
I'm
yes, of course.
in demand, of course.
Mm-hmm. It seems quite so. Or do you get invited to many of these parties? You say that you go around a lot, but
Oh, all the time. House parties, museum parties, of course, are one of my favorite kinds of parties. But really, anywhere with a grand hall is a place where I'm welcome.
oh yes, I see. See, I don't normally attend many parties like this.
No.
No,
Why ever
I
not? Do you
uh,
not find them pleasurable?
no, it's not that. I just have so many studies that I have to keep to.
Of course, of course. A doctor like yourself must be very busy.
Yes, I'm quite busy because after after I get out of the office, I generally return home and study up just to make sure I am on top of my game at all times.
Ah, of course.
Yeah.
A man who's dedicated to his work. How very respectable.
Why, thank you. Now, how do you find these parties? Are
These parties.
yes, yes.
Well, you get to be well known among certain groups of people, and well, they know when to invite you, I suppose. If you sort of have the right connections, you'll find yourself being invited to such parties. And of course, I can, if you'd like, begin to invite you to some of my parties. If you should like to get in with such a circle of contacts.
That would actually, that sounds wonderful.
Of course. How may I reach you? What is your mailing address?
My mailing address, it is
Can you say Duxford for me, Dylan?
my mailing address. Yes, it is
another
558
558?
yes, 558
Why do you keep naming numbers?
Swan Street in Duxford, Cambridge.
I see. Well, I'll be happy to send you an invitation next time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I very much look forward to meeting you at some more of these parties.
Happily.
I just want to ask: is that a lie, or is that
No,
just
that's
actually your
my
character's
actual address.
That's the character's actual address.
Yes.
The character just casually
Hold
gave
up,
it
hold
as
up. I'm
address
gonna
to a
look this.
person
I'm gonna
who
look
might
this up
be a
right
fool.
now. I'm gonna see if that's actually a place. Was it 558 Swan Street, Duxford?
Swan Street.
Let's say
Duxford.
that.
I was laughing about.
Okay, so yeah, proceed.
Yes. Where perhaps do you reside? If
Oh,
you don't
here in
mind me
London,
asking.
of course. I have a home over in the wealthier side of town. A lovely home. Of course, you have to settle for a place not so large when you're living in the city, but I find it to be suitably elegant.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh. Quite. Yes.
You could say that I live nearby.
Oh, do you?
She wants to bone.
Okay. That is
She wants an in-depth checkup, Doc.
Hey, baby.
That is,
Because I want to open up your appendix.
that is wonderful to hear.
Okay, can we pause for a second? Lorenzo, I don't think you know how the human body
We're not
works.
gonna acknowledge
Let me-
what Lorenzo
Let's
said.
ignore
We're
everything.
gonna move on real quick.
Let's continue this
Also,
conversation.
just
Yeah.
one quick thing. Swan Street is not a street in Duxford, but when I looked it up, the first thing that came up was a Holiday Inn Express.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yes. That is quite wonderful to hear. Actually. That's it's good to hear that you are near around so much and in the scene because these parties sound quite interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you generally recognize many people at these parties?
Well, sure, of course. I know most of the people that would come to a party like this.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. As you have told your story about the hedges.
Yes.
But when I'm sorry, not to pry on the collections. It just collections are quite interesting to me. But what other things do you collect?
Oh, well, anything I can get my hands on, really. I just like old things. Things
Old
that
things.
come out of the ground, you'll understand. Artifacts, objects, whatever I can get my hands on.
Oh yes, I full-heartedly understand that. I'm out of tea. That is something that I do find interesting. What?
Well, and what sorts of things do you collect?
Mostly literature myself.
I see.
I am a large fan of pocket watches as well. I always have mine.
Pocket watches.
Yes.
How charming.
I always have mine on me at all times.
And what time is it, sir?
What time is it? It is all times. It is currently 4:20.
Oh, jolly good. I did not know that was the case when I asked. So sorry.
That's.
Oh my god.
Quite
So
quite
that's
good.
what kind of party this is.
Yes, it is wonderful to. I just love them. There are so many interesting and unique things about each and every one. That I like to explore. What? All right. May I ask, what is your favorite thing that you have collected? Your favorite object
favorite
in any of
thing?
your collection?
I have a set of, well, I would say that my favorite thing is the oldest thing, and I have a set of Mesopotamian tablets that are very, very old indeed. I'm afraid I don't know what they say.
Mm-hmm.
The language isn't as translatable as I suppose I
Mm.
prefer, but I do enjoy looking at them regardless.
That sounds quite intriguing. Now, it's been such a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mrs. Baxter.
I thank you.
I feel that a continued acquaintance would be beneficial to both of us.
Of course. And of course I have your mailing address, so I can
Yes,
happily
yes.
invite you to someplace soon.
That sounds great.
Wink.
Now, if you would not mind me asking,
Of course not.
it still seems quite interesting to me about your literature collection.
Sure.
How may I find more about this literature?
Well, you could, of course, come over to my home and we could look at it together.
Would
Perhaps over a glass of brandy.
you like
So you're going
to
for the hard stuff.
would you like to attend now? Is that
No,
what
she's
you're
going for the hard
She's
stuff.
going for the hard stuff.
What did you just ask, Dylan?
that is quite a pleasurable offer. Would you like to attend now?
Pleasurable offer.
Now is what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, Dylan, what you are saying is that you are about to leave this party, which has effectively captured all of your suspects in one place, to go look at this woman's books. Which are not the
Well,
books.
that's
that
not the
you're
only
looking
thing he's gonna be.
Just to be clear, she has said that she does not own the book that you're after. I guess you can't confirm that she's being honest about that, but she has said that.
Maybe let's not go now, but after the party.
Oh, of course, after the party.
Yes.
I should hate to leave a party so early. I see.
Oh, of course. Sorry, pardon my monocle.
Did your eye just
But yes, I will. After the party, I am still trying to acquaintance myself with many others. There's a group that I may need to return to soon, but before we leave, before we depart, again, this has really been such a lovely time. But may I ask once again about this book I have been searching for? May I ask, will you be more willing to share with me who has discussed it with you?
Make a charm check of,
Seducer.
I'm going to
Well, you
say,
already did that.
extreme difficulty. So you're going to want to be under the 1/5 value. Of
1/5
your charm
value.
statistic.
My charms 1/5 is 15. Okay. That's a D20. Where's my D? What the heck?
Just roll 5 d20s.
I guess that would technically
There we go.
work.
No, then you can't get anything lower than a 5.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I got a 62.
You got a 62.
Yes.
So that's a fail.
Yes.
Would you like to push and or luck that roll? Is this a roll that you want to fail? Because you could not fail it. I will say that is a ton of luck to spend
That is
this early in the
absolutely-
game. So you could push the roll and risk fumbling it, or you can let it stand.
Oh.
You would have an 85% chance of getting a critical failure if you push this roll.
Yeah. I'll let it stand.
You're gonna let it stand.
Yes.
And so she says, "I'm afraid I just can't pass on that information."
Yes, I understand.
I hope you'll understand. Now, it's been great speaking with you, but I must get back to the party. And she gets up and she walks away.
Okay.
So what is your next move? We can go back to the other group if you don't know yet. There is still a person that none of you have interacted with, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Wait, which one have we not interacted with? I thought there were 5 people.
There were 6
The
people. The oily dude.
the oily hair.
Oh
boy?
yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
oily
the
snake guy.
The greasy boy! Isn't that just Enzo, though?
No, unfortunately. So nobody's interacted with him yet.
I will approach. I will
Let's
approach.
just
I
recap,
shave
no,
my hair
let's
every
recap
day.
how successful these conversations have been so far.
I tried my
Not.
best.
Not at all.
The answer has been not.
You've been the most successful, Dylan. Enzo, you have learned that the lady is an author, and that she
Author.
claims to be carrying around some papers that she writes on.
Yeah.
That's all that you know about her. Well, you know that she writes what kind of stories she writes.
She writes sort of very suspenseful stories about characters ending up in situations over their heads and maybe places they shouldn't be.
That's the general idea, which she said in a semi-threatening manner.
Yeah.
So, Sam, you actually had a very successful conversation because you learned that this man's bag was probably empty, or very nearly empty. Ethan, what have you learned? Something about pranks. You've learned that you've learned that he was a soldier. He served in the war.
He was not there for most of the war. He
Yeah.
was in England for most of
And he still has pain in his leg, and that's like it. That's all you know. And he likes to read.
Yeah, and Pulp Fiction.
Yes. And Sophie,
And apparently he thinks I'm illiterate.
yeah, which he was very clear
Which,
about.
like,
And
to be
Sophie,
fair to him, yeah.
perhaps most frustratingly, you learned that this man knows who wrote this book and lied to you about it, and you asked no further questions.
What else was I supposed to say without giving it up? Like being like just curious.
I can't answer that question for you. That's like the
Sophie,
point of
that's
the
not
game.
how you play role play games.
I don't know. I've never done this before.
You don't have to be socially awkward like you are in real life. You just be in.
It's very hard for me. Okay, fine.
Sophie is fresh blood here. Don't forget.
Yes.
Fresh blood.
So
that's
what
why
I'm
we
thinking
that's why
right
that's
now-
why we can haze her.
It is 4:30
Never
p.m.
blood.
Yes, it is
My
4:30
dinner
p.m.
time is probably within the next hour and 15 minutes. Let's finish up the conversation with Mr. Clay.
Garrison Clay.
And call it a night.
Okay.
And then we
Yeah.
talk to
We can
the greasy guy, and we make Sophie talk to the other
Yeah,
guy.
I
yeah, we
can
can
do
resume this
it.
conversation.
No, I can't.
We can resume this scene next session. But
Yeah,
this is
or we
like
can have
very
our
slow going
characters-
so far.
Or
You
we can have our
not
characters
uncovered-
group up.
That is true. You can have your characters group up,
Yeah,
which would not
can't-
necessarily make things go faster, but it'd probably be more entertaining. All right, so let's do. Let's go back to the conversation with the 3 people in it.
Okay.
So Enzo and Sam, you've sort of like just entered. Yeah. What's that?
Oh, can I move my character back to where we first grouped together, so I'm easier to find?
So he's just gonna stand in like the middle of the room, doing nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's fine.
finger,
You can do that.
Sammy's.
Admiring my watch.
She posing in the middle of the room to assert dominance.
Yeah.
Just T poses in
sure.
the middle of the frickin' museum.
So
Has someone come up to you? Have you heard of Idon? I have a book I'm
I
trying
have
to
a book that I'm trying to sell. I stole it, and I would like to give it to you.
Ever seen
That's no one's
Idol?
hope right now. So, the 3 of you, Enzo and Sam have like sort of just entered this conversation. What is your angle? What are you trying to sort of present yourself as here?
I am
Let's
trying to
see.
present myself as Mark's buddy / bodyguard, and and my character's goal for being here is, all right, my first guy was a bust. I'm gonna go see if I can help out Miss Nurse Lady.
All right, cool.
I have a name.
Miss Nurse Lady. Yeah, your name is
doesn't
Nurse
know.
Lady.
I don't have a
Obviously.
name.
So
There's a nice pocket watch you have there, too.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, you got the stuff.
Oh, a nice peeler.
So where is this conversation right now? You want to like just ask this guy a question? I guess I don't know what you're talking about.
I guess I can sort of take lead here, if I may.
Go for it.
Okay. So I go up to, let me look. I go up to Colonel Garrison Clay, and I say, thank you for your service in the war. I know that something like that can't be easy, and I sort of look at his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Gawk at his
and then
leg.
I say, oi, oi, oi. And then
You say and make those motions. He looks at you very concerned. Calls, sir.
Yes, we
Right,
can't
your
help but
eyeballs have fallen out.
we can't help but admire a man who seems to have suffered an injury. I can only presume through the war. Please, would you like me to hold on to your bag?
He is in like a military dress uniform, just to be
Okay.
clear. Like it's very apparent this man is a
Okay,
soldier.
a man who
Um,
served. Would you like me to hold on to the bag, ease some of the weight off of your one leg?
Oh, well, that would be lovely of you. Thank you very much. And he hands it to you. He was seated at this point, so it was just like in his lap, and he just
Okay.
gives you the bag.
Does it feel like it might be book weight? Like, do I need to bother like investigating?
It feels like there's something in there.
Okay. Oh,
Uh,
what could you?
Okay, okay.
What might you have in here, sir?
that's my private business,
My apologies, sir.
of course.
Okay, before we say anything else stupid that would mess up this entire situation of this really good scenario, out of character, I said we set up a game plan of me and Enzo distract him, and you look through the bag and don't say another word.
Nether word?
Yeah.
Another word.
Mm-hmm.
All ever been to the Nether?
So,
Okay, are we
Smart
ready?
enough to pick up
Are we
on
ready?
that plan.
This stupid conversation I had before is about to come in real handy. Okay, back in character. Excuse me.
I see you've
Mark.
been.
Mark, was it?
Yes, Mark. Yeah.
Yes. Me and the Colonel here have been talking about literature. Have you met anyone interesting tonight?
Oh, in fact, I have. I met the famous author.
that is such player knowledge. That was like the hardest player knowledge move I've ever seen.
You're right.
You
Whoa.
cannot do that. You
What's in the
absolutely can't.
bag?
You're like, perchance if you met an author.
I didn't mean to ask it like that. I meant to just ask it like, yo, you meet any cool peeps, yo, dog?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They happen to be
back up.
I
Let me
suggest
not
that
do
you
that.
like introduce. I don't even know how you would do this without it being player knowledge, because you just have this. Whatever. Do whatever you want. I
Yeah,
don't care.
you should have a stupid joke conversation, and I'm abusing it to its full capacity.
Fine.
Okay.
Me.
Here, I'll let Ethan take the lead.
No, please don't. I'm still laughing.
Okay.
Somebody
So-
talk.
Okay, I will. So I asked the colonel how his life has been after the war, and somewhat on the same wavelength as the nurse, I asked him about his activities and what he particularly enjoys.
Sure. And he's going to give you the same sort of answer. He's just going to say, "Well, I don't have much to do other than read these days. I'm pretty, like, not bedridden, but like not very mobile." That those weren't like the exact words that he said. I'm just giving you like the gist of the conversation since we've had this conversation before.
Does he mention that he likes sort of sci-fi and horror?
He just says that he reads.
Reads. Okay. What particular genres do you find yourself dabbling the most in?
Fine. Now he says that he likes sci-fi. Are you happy? Are you happy, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than my approach.
Oh, horror. I should think that a man of your experiences would try to stay away from anything so reminiscent of such experiences he faced just merely a few years ago.
Are you insinuating that I am a coward?
I am not. I'm just saying it seems to be quite the, how shall we say, gamble for everything that has gone on since. To be such reminded of everything and what horrors in the war, I think it's rather admirable that you indulge in it as entertainment, as mere interest.
Can I while you guys are both very entrenched in you being insulted by Lorenzo trying to dig himself out of this hole,
That was
have fun with that,
to Murphy
Sam.
over there, like, hey, look through the bag.
sure. You are both gonna need to make a stealth check.
I need to make a
You
stealth
there?
check right now.
Yes.
Both of you, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
hold up. Where's my dice rolling?
Yeah, no, stealth is the correct check.
Okay.
Stealth.
Now might be a bad time to tell you guys I'm not very good at stealth.
Oh my god, you
very
did this
good
once
at
before.
stealth.
Now might be a bad time to tell you that failing a stealth roll means that this guy sees you searching his bag.
Oh.
Well, hold on. Maybe I don't want to hold it. Maybe I don't want to.
Maybe you want to go
Search.
somewhere that isn't like right next to him and just go
Yeah.
talking to someone else.
Yeah.
So how? What is your game plan to just walk away with this man's possessions?
Guys, this is not D&D.
Quick, you run, I'll kick his crutch out of the way.
Oh my god!
Okay, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
One of us can leave.
We're just gonna get arrested in the first episode.
Question, are any of us carrying bags that would look similar?
If you want to pull an Indiana Jones on this, I don't know. That's a
Yeah.
question for
I
you.
want
That's a question for you, I guess. Do you think one of you is carrying a bag that looks like this bag?
No, at least
Yeah,
I'm not.
I didn't think so.
Is
I don't think we
it
can just like
plot
retcon
convenience,
halfway
can I
through
say
this session.
yes? Just a bag
Deus
materializes.
Bagina.
Boggy. God. No, I'm gonna say that you
Don't
cannot
forget
do that. You
the
cannot
current-
just decide.
The current dynamic that we have this guy believing is that neither me so me and Lorenzo are together, but Ethan's character does not know either of us already.
Yes.
Just as a point.
I
So
think that is. I think he's like maybe suspicious of that. Like I don't think that he's entirely sold on you not knowing each other. But yeah, that is what the story that you've presented.
okay, so my
is
guy
this
will
man who
listen
has
to
been- This man who has been alone at this party for so far has just been approached by 3 separate people who he has never met, and they're all asking him exactly the same questions.
All right. Well, my guy will listen to Lorenzo if he tells me to do something to play up the kind of like bouncer act.
Sure, yeah.
So, if he asks me to like go get a
Lorenzo is
drink or
also
something,
currently arguing,
I'll
trying
do
to say
it.
he didn't call him.
Are you about to start a
cowards.
fight with an amputee? Is that what's about to happen? you want Lorenzo to like call this man a coward so you can start a fight with
That
an
is,
amputee?
that is. I'll be honest, Sam. That is a worse plan than me kicking the crutch out from underneath him.
What, asking if he wants me to go grab him a drink?
Oh, that's not what I thought you were doing. I thought you were like, so I'm gonna act like
Oh.
his bouncer while Enzo is pissing this guy off.
But it's not like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna punch this amputee in the face.
Okay, yeah, no,
How
that's
did I
fine.
ever
If
put
you
on
wanna-
that idea?
Oh.
Sam, do you know what a bouncer is, real quick?
It kicks people out
So
of,
what
like,
is your-
Well, yeah,
What-
technically no.
What are you doing, Sam? Are you announcing that you're gonna go get a drink, or are you just
No, right
walking
now I'm-
away?
Right now,
I
I'm
am
holding,
going to.
Right, you're holding the bag.
Right now, I'm holding the bag, and I'll say,
Uh-huh.
would the colonel or my associate like a beverage?
I don't know.
I look.
Would his associate like a beverage?
That's
I,
you.
Would you like a beverage?
I, what?
Would you like a beverage,
Lorenzo, do you want to drink
I-
alcohol or not? Here's a hint.
Oh.
Say yes.
I know. 1 second. I'm sorry. They were just like, it was cutting in and out. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I do think that a drink would help soothe everything down. So yes.
And what would you like, the colonel?
I don't drink, thank you very much.
All right. And my lady.
Wine.
Oh. Don't do that.
I'm not gonna keep that voice up. I'm not gonna keep that.
Excellent.
Intimidating.
Red or white?
It will be done. So I walk off in the direction
It will be
of
done.
beverages.
Okay, you walk off in the direction of beverages.
Okay, and once I get
Wait,
far
no,
away,
hold on. Hold
No,
on,
hold on.
sorry, I
Okay.
wasn't paying attention. This man is going to ask for his bag back. He's going to say, can you just leave that with me if you don't want your hands full if you're getting drinks, right?
No, of
He's
course
not like demanding it back. He's just saying like, you want free hand space if you're going to get drinks.
Okay, and I'm going to put it on the ground, and
Okay.
not like far away from him, but you know, I'm just gonna set it on the ground. As I'm setting it down,
No, hold on. How exactly? Where in his sight line and how far away from him is this?
Yeah. Because remember, he is an
like 3
amputee.
feet, like 3
I
feet.
remember
Like 3 feet in what
amputee.
direction? Is it like right in his eye line?
Yeah, I just started walking away, and I'm assuming he
If
started.
this man was to jump out of his chair and fall to the ground, could he reach it with his hand?
Yes.
Okay, so he's
I
just
haven't
gonna
walked
look
that
at it
far.
and be like, I guess that's staying there then.
I'm putting
It's
it
not
down.
like in reach of him
I'm putting it.
comfortably.
As I'm putting it down, I'd like to see if I can like take a peek inside.
Oh, it's not that kind of bag, unfortunately. It's like I was talking about before,
Oh,
it's
it's
another
not?
one of the messenger bag styles. It's got like a flap
Mhm.
over the top. So you would have to
Okay.
like fully open it to see anything inside.
Okay.
I love how Sam assumes this a military veteran of the British Expeditionary Force,
I did
like
not
an old
Yeah.
lady, like an old lady purse with like a giant opening on it.
Ethan, I like how you assume an old 1920s military veteran knows what a prank is.
This man is actually just carrying like a milk carton containing his belongings.
Alright,
Not
let us
only is it completely open topped, it has slats on the side.
and 2%.
All right. Well, I'm gonna so I'm
Look,
gonna
this is
set
a
the
bunch
bag
of old
down.
shit here.
You set
gonna
the
set
bag
the-
down just
Yes.
out of reach.
I'm gonna set the bag down. I'm gonna go get drinks.
Yes.
Okay.
And are we far from a drink table? I figured we aren't because we just started walking away.
nowhere in this room is far from a drink table.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab a drink and bring it right over to him. Like,
Okay.
I set the bag down, saying, "Look, I'm not walking away with it, but I'm not making you pick it back up."
Right.
And I bring it back over to the lady and my associate.
Okay, now did anyone who remained say anything while he was gone, or did these three people all just sit there staring at a bag
Inside.
out of reach of all of them?
What do you guys do?
Yeah,
Here,
what's the
while Sam is getting drinks, I I apologize about my somewhat judgment about how he may or assumption about how he may be a coward, and I say, oh, I think I met a lady who writes such stories that you're so interested in. Have you heard of Lucy Crawford?
Oh, of course, Lucy Crawford is my favorite. Have you read Abducted by Aliens Gone Wrong?
Or perhaps Legend of the Pharaoh's Tomb.
Legend of the Pharaoh's Tomb, which, as we all know, is canonically Lucy's best book.
Why, of course.
Oh my god.
Wait, was the prank book one of her books? Is that your claim?
Yeah, no, my claim was it was a compilation of short stories that she had written.
Now, I cannot verify that you are incorrect about that because this person is fictional. Have you read the prank book, or are you completely making this up?
In canon,
Yes.
I have read the prank book.
The prank book is real.
The prank book is real,
and
okay.
Lucy Crawford actually did read it. And the stories are all just like
Right,
a man hears a noise. Yeah, Lucy Crawford did write it. And the stories are all just some variation on man hears a noise and then nothing happens.
No, that's just my favorite story from the compilation.
Okay. Alright. I need to get this. Hold on.
Let's continue.
It's
Yeah,
called the
let's
Telltale
Let's
Appendix.
please go. So you two are now like nerding out about Lucy Crawford's books, Enzo, and you've never read any of these books canonically.
Yeah.
Like, what's your next move?
My next move is to say, oh, well, I don't know if you've heard, but she's actually here tonight attending
Is
this
she
event.
really?
She is. And then I show him the autograph that I got way back when I first approached her.
How about we trade you this bag for an autograph? Sorry, that's not in character.
I hope not. So he looks at this autograph and he goes, I must have one for myself. And then he sort of thinks about it for a minute and he goes, I don't suppose you could go get one for me, could you? I, of course, would have such difficulty getting over there, and standing for so long as to see her.
I think I shall. I'll go up and get her another autograph. I'm sure she'll be happy to oblige. And meanwhile, you can talk with this lovely lady. So then I go up, and can I make a stealth check on checking the bag?
The bag is directly in his sightline. There's just no universe in which you can open this bag and see what's inside without him immediately knowing that's happening.
Oh.
Okay.
This is such a weird angle to take, guys. I don't know why you're trying to like physically get inside the bag, but I'm enjoying it.
Oh.
I would assume he turns to talk to me, to which my immediate question is, so, this bag seems rather important to you. What perhaps do you carry in on it?
And he just
Carry on
says,
it.
"What is it with you guys?" In the bag?
Oh no! I literally.
Oh, no. And I look at my. Well, I don't know
This is like the
if there might be
fourth
some.
time I've asked
If
for questions of the bag.
It's vintage, okay? It looks cool.
It's Prada, damn
It's a
it.
cool bag.
No.
Look, when you're a man,
I was wondering
can you
I was
what?
in the middle of
What is
talking.
this in
Started making-
player or
people
character?
started joking. No. This thing, because I was in the middle of talking and started making jokes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that wasn't a joke. He actually just said, "Why? What is with all of you guys in the bag?" Because he is now very suspicious.
Well, yes, but then I started to respond to people. Well, no, you're saying that your leg bothers you. I was wondering if you had any medication and what it is. Maybe something might not have been right with the medication you were given.
Yes, if you must know, a man with such nervous deficiencies as myself must sometimes carry medicine on him in the occasion that something goes wrong. and I prefer to keep that fact private, and I frankly don't appreciate that you so dragged it out of me. But at least I'm getting an autograph out of the deal.
Really not good at this.
May I return with a drink now?
Yes, you may
Sure,
return
already.
with a drink.
Thank you.
Here's your drink, madam, and here, let me carry this bag in. Would you like it, sir? I need to go and meet again with my associate.
Yes, actually, I should think that I'd like that back now. And he takes it back, and he's like now holding it with his hands. This is no longer just resting on his lap. He is like hanging on to this thing for dear life.
Excellent. Well, I must return to my partner over there.
Of course.
Good night.
I understand. Wait, no, he's coming back here. You know that,
Yeah.
right? He went to get
Oh,
an
he is?
autograph. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Me?
Okay,
You're
my
just
bad.
not paying
Am I the
attention.
partner?
So, is there any
No, I
conversation
thought he was going
you want
over
to
to
have?
talk to her.
And so, is there any conversation you want to have with Mrs. Crawford, or do you want to just like say that you were getting the autograph for a friend and coming back? Because we don't need to like go through the entire introduction process again, unless you want to actually talk to her.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna get the autograph and then I return and give it to him. Because I
Alright,
think
great.
like we're coming to a nice stopping point.
Yeah, and he just like tersely says thank you and looks at you as if he's expecting you to leave.
Which I do so promptly.
There you go. Okay, so that's the stopping point for the night. You've managed to really make this man unhappy.
It is a wonderful day, and you are a terrible investigator.
That was quite something. I was not expecting this to go on for that long.
Did you have more
But, you know,
planned?
that
for
was a
today?
good session. Yeah, I have like, well, you guys were first of all meant to solve this mystery today. Like, this is a session 1
Oh,
mystery.
Well,
We're
I,
really not good at this.
What?
I was trying my best.
No, you were the
we
closest to on a
solve it?
track that I was anticipating.
Mhm.
And the rest of you were just like not on a track at all.
Were you expecting me to go
what?
home with her? Because that's what I was
No.
wanting to do. No?
I was not.
Okay.
I mean, you can
Damn it,
you can totally
so
do
it
that
is
if you
her?
want. I just wanted to make you aware of the fact that you were choosing to leave like the bottle that all of your suspects are conveniently trapped in.
Well,
It would
she
be like if you were trying to win a game of Clue and just went home.
she obviously knew something about the book and where I could find it. If I schmoozed her a little bit more, then I probably would have been able to get out of her.
You can do that.
Are you saying
Like-
you were going to bribe this woman with sex?
No, I was
That's
going to
prostitution.
make
We're
her.
gonna make this a problem. We're gonna make this a problem for next week.
I'll put it in my
And
notes.
yeah, no, I'm not stopping you from doing that. I just like
Okay.
wanted to make you aware that that was the decision that you were making.
All right,
just
I know
remind
exactly what I'll
her.
say to her
And
then.
it's like, I've made
Yeah,
a
and Sophie,
huge mistake.
Sophie had
What?
a nearly really good conversation and then left.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully aware of what was happening.
Sophie, Alex literally said his
He
eyes
literally-
sparkle
oh my
up at the
God.
mention of the author.
Yeah,
but
I
then he
said
said he
you
didn't.
can clearly
else.
see that he recognizes the name, and then he says, "Well, who's that?" And I'm like, and you were just like,
I'm supposed to say. I was like, yeah, he's a
And
right.
then he said what he's gonna say. Nobody would
suppose-
lie. That's a
I suppose-
bad thing to do.
yeah, you're all assuming that these people are being extremely honest, and I don't
Oh,
understand why.
I don't trust anyone, but I also, you know.
Not even my own character.
Okay, so if anybody's watching this, we're gonna
If anybody is
I think we
still
have any
watching
viewers
us,
right now.
I mean, this has been sort of funny.
Yeah.
It hasn't been
Yeah.
exactly successful, but the other game of this I've run first session went exactly like this as well. The character or the players were just like not used to having to actually like acquire information conversationally rather than just roll insight. You know things now. So that's the game. I'd say we're probably about halfway through what I was planning to be the first session. And we're gonna reconvene. Do we have a date for when we're reconvening? Is it just gonna be this time every week?
I believe so.
2
Yeah.
o'clock.
I think it
Two
could be
o'clock.
for
2 o'clock EST on Wednesdays.
So tune in 2 o'clock next Wednesday, and we're gonna get back to it.
same Cthulhu
Lucky
time,
ESP.
same
Same
Cthulhu
Cthulhu
place.
Cthulhu channel.
All right.
Different Cthulhu tales.
Same lack of Cthulhu.
Same lack of
Cthulhu will
Cthulhu.
actually
Different
kill us.
Cthulhu prank.
Yeah, you guys haven't gotten to like any of the spooky parts yet.
Yeah.
This isn't spooky.
We're actually
I don't
just
know.
intending
I
to
don't
bring
know.
it.
I don't know.
We just add a party.
Those pranks are pretty spooky.
Pranks were pretty spooky.
Wartime injuries are
Also,
terrifying.
you know cars exist already, right? You were like, the dude's got something in the back
A
of his
wagon.
It's 1922.
Okay, to be fair, this is World War One. Cars weren't as commonplace as they were after, and Britain does not have a good economy at the moment, so most people can't afford cars. This isn't
Oh,
Downton
wow.
Abbey, damn it.
Right, but they would
Okay.
know what a car is. You don't
Thank you
need
all.
to,
Like a far more fantastical tale if you use the
Wagon.
term wagon.
And I heard a sound coming from the back of a Studebaker wagon.
Thank you all so much for joining in on this first session. Let's call this session point
Parents
5.
with wood pen
Yeah,
layouts.
session, the first half of the first
Put it
session.
in-
I can very easily mute you again. Wow, that was meant as a joke. That drove it quiet. Everyone, sorry.
I don't know what you said.
Oh,
I didn't
but
hear it. Are we done streaming? Are we off?
no, not yet. I just want to say thank you all to anyone who joined us and
Are we
to
done yet?
who joined us for this long, especially.
Yeah.
This has
It's
been
for
session
Anyone's
0.5 of Call of Cthulhu. We will reconvene at the same time next week, and
We're a
be on the
mess.
lookout for that. But otherwise, thank you guys for joining us. Any last claims from anyone?
I feel like we need
This
to
was-
assemble.
Watch out for the tales of pranks of spooky. I forget what the hell I call it.
What were you
At
saying,
some
Sam?
point, we need to have a name for our crew. Right now, I'm thinking the Bumble Squad.
The Bumble
'cause we
Squad.
yeah, we'll-
bumbled a lot.
Yeah,
No.
We'll get
We're
you
the
guys a name
Fumble
when you
Squad.
get
We're the
together.
Fumble Squad. We
yeah.
fumble
We'll get a name.
every
The Fumble
No
Squad.
roll has been fumbled yet.
Yeah, no roll has been
Yeah.
fumbled. Almost. Very close to being fumbled.
Dylan contemplated it until you
Yeah.
said 85% chance of fumble.
That's just true. That's
Okay.
what it is. Okay,
Just the facts, man.
fantastic.
This was
Oh.
very experimental. Thank you for joining us, and
night.
we'll definitely do this more.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
Aye.